UCLA's. Decided to stay here. I think it was great for the community that he did, because other quarterbacks like him in the future may be more prone to come here now.
It was a difficult decision when you're 18 years old and you have a chance to go away, and you know, when you're choosing a university, it becomes maybe a decision for the rest of your life. So I based it basically on the fact that I could stay home and have a chance to play in front of people who know me well and that I love.
So tonight, the Sweeney and Sweeney Show. Dad's the coach, Kevin's the quarterback. Their team is second in the nation in scoring. Fresno State against Wichita State. It's live. It's next. ESPN, the Total Sports Network, presents College Football 85 Thursday night. Welcome live to Bulldog Stadium. Fresno State 9-0-1 up against the 3-7 Shockers of Wichita State. It'll be a dandy. Jim Sweeney down in the tunnel with his Bulldogs. They are undefeated this season. They are craving an unbeaten season. They have a game, and here they come out of the tunnel, the Bulldogs, before a sellout crowd here at Fresno State. Fresno State, one of only 3 undefeated schools in the country. Top-ranked Penn State, the other, along with Bowling Green, who that man and the Bulldogs will meet in the California Bowl. And watch the last 3 out of the tunnel. Stephen Baker, Mike Moffitt, and John Carippo, the 3 acrobats. There they are down on the field. The Bulldogs, they're bowl-bound. Hi again, everybody. I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome to Thursday Night Football here on ESPN. The Bulldogs of head coach Jim Sweeney, 9-0-1, champions of the PCAA, and they're bowl-bound, headed for the California Bowl. They've won 6 games in a row. But the Shockers of Ron Chismar, they have been just that. Wichita State has been shocked. They've lost their last 2. They've been shut out in their last game, and it's a long flight home, especially against the offense of Fresno State. Working with us tonight, former Nebraska and National Football League quarterback David Humm. On paper, David, a big mismatch, but hey, Ron Chismar said, we've got a chance.
Well, Fresno State quarterback Kevin Sweeney says, hey, wait a minute, these guys look tough on film, but realistically, head coach Ron Chismar of Wichita State says, for them to be in the game, they're going to have some big plays early or some sustained drives to try to take the Fresno State crowd out of this game.
David, Fresno State used to be known as Wide Receiver University, but not anymore. Jim Sweeney said, hey, wait a minute, the biggest improvement we've made this year is in our running game.
Well, it is, and it's with James Williams and Kelly Skipper. They've combined for over 1,400 yards, and they've taken the pressure off of Kevin Sweeney. A more balanced attack, and it's really helped Kevin Sweeney.
We have talked about Jim Sweeney's Bulldogs being bowl-bound to the California Bowl, going up against Bowling Green. An impressive win against Wichita State tonight. A big win against the Shockers could vault them into the top 20.
Jim Sweeney believes that if they win tonight and they beat Bowling Green in the California Bowl, that they definitely deserve a ranking in the top 20.
It's going to be a wide-open game because the Fresno State Bulldogs, they get off the bus throwing the football. It's the Shockers up against the Bulldogs on ESPN next.
Sports Illustrated wanted me to talk to you sports fans.
As the temperatures have dipped down to about 53 degrees, expected to be into the high 40s by the time this one's over. Just a slight breeze and no chance of rain at all as the Bulldogs of head coach Jim Sweeney do battle with Ron Chismar's Shockers of Wichita State. There is a man in his 8th season as the head coach at Fresno State. He has won the PCAA championship now 3 times, and he's headed for his 2nd California Bowl. Meanwhile, in his 2nd season as head coach at Wichita State, there is Ron Chismar over on the sideline, a former assistant coach at Michigan State, along with Arizona State as well. The Bulldogs of Jim Sweeney have won the toss. They have elected to receive, and so dropping back to tee it up from the 40-yard line for Wichita State, it is Sergio Lopez Chavero, number 13. And back deep, there they are, Kelly Skipper, 26, top of the screen, Julius Pitts, number 7, to the near side. We're underway from Fresno State. It's a line drive. It's deep, and they will bring it out. Pitts, 5 yards deep across the 15, dances to the 20, the 25, and hammers his way up to the 29-yard line. Alan Smith, number 54 for Wichita State, the first man down there. And there is Kelly Skipper, whom the coaches say is perhaps the most improved runner in the backfield for the Bulldogs. Kevin Sweeney, and oh my, he is just a junior. He's closing in on Doug Flutie's all-time NCAA passing mark. He lines up with wide receivers left and right to the near side. Stephen Baker, and to the top of the screen, it's Gene Taylor. Sweeney A 6-footer, 195-pound quarterback from the shotgun. Gives it off to James Williams around the right side. Hammers across the 30, cuts it back near the 32-yard line. Blocking over on that right side by Terry Lafitte and Greg Lovering. Defensively for Wichita State, and they've got their work cut out for them. Up front, Mark Duckin, Sean Saturday, Thomas Glinsley. The linebackers are Don Weatherby, Derek Westfield, Kirk Allen, and Jim Mann. The corners, Randall Cooper and Maurice Foxworth. The safeties, Darrell Whiteley, and it's Gene Taylor, number 1, coming out wide to the left side. Stephen Baker deployed wide right top of the screen. Backs are Williams and Lavelle Thomas, and they are split. Inside handoff, Lavelle Thomas bowls his way across the 40 up near the 43-yard line. And that's a first down, the initial first down of the football game, picked up by the Bulldogs of Fresno State. Now, in the NCAA statistics, Fresno State has 4 players in the top 10 and 2 team categories. They're in the top 10. And one of those is in offense. They are 5th in total offense with over 457 yards per game on average. They are 2nd in the nation in scoring, averaging better than 38 points per game. From the 42, it's 1st and 10. Sweeney's first pass. Safety valve. Got his man looping out of the backfield across the 50. That's Jimmy Williams. And that's very close to first down yardage once again.
James Williams, not only a great runner, a great pass receiver out of the backfield. We'll see Fresno State throw to their backs underneath quite a bit tonight. James Williams, he's had a great year. He's taken a lot of pressure off of Kevin Sweeney. Watch James Williams out of the backfield. Sets up to block. He'll just run a little out pattern there. No one around him. Good high percentage throw by Kevin Sweeney.
Jim Sweeney said he's a threat anytime he touches the football. Out of the I-Pro set, it's 2nd down and 3. They even up the backs now, Williams and Thomas. Motion by Fresno State, where they motioned offside, was their interior movement in the line. A penalty flag to be checked out. The referee for tonight's game is Robert Burgo. The umpire is Bill Del Biagio. William Levy is the linesman. The field judge is Dean Crowley. The back judge, Robert Wuchek. And the line judge is Ken Rivera. Procedure call against the Bulldogs will back them up 5.
Ron Chismar believed that his team had to come out and play emotional football early in the game. He didn't believe that he had the depth or the talent that if they had to go toe-to-toe with Fresno State, he thought they'd have some problems.
Well, you know, Don Shula, great coach of the Dolphins, says that the best way to silence a crowd is with a long, sustained scoring drive. Of course, they've got to get the ball back. From the 45 of the Bulldogs, it's 2nd down and 8. 3:15 left to go first quarter. Opening possession, safety valve out. It goes to Jimmy Williams again, and look out. There is that explosive speed, cuts it back against the grain, and into Shocker territory down at the 38-yard line. Kirk Allen, number 85, the linebacker out of Wichita, Kansas, just a sophomore, the man that wrestled Jimmy Williams down.
Well, you can thank right tackle number 74, Greg Lovering. There they fake the dive. It'll be a quick screen out to Williams. Watch Greg Lovering, number 74, gets a good block, allows James Williams to cut back inside and make a big gain.
Boy, he just buried the linebacker, number 42, Don Weatherby. Gene Taylor comes out wide to the left side, and Stephen Baker, top of your screen now on 1st and 10. Penalty flags are down once again. One of the things that concerned head coach Jim Sweeney for the Bulldogs, as we talked with him at the practice the other day, was perhaps a little bit of a letdown after that big win against Long Beach State for the PCAA championship.
That was such an emotional game. It was a game that came down to the last 2 minutes. Long Beach State had 2 field goal opportunities there and missed both of them. Remember, Fresno State, they're coming off a short week. They played just Saturday.
Dead ball foul against the offense, backs them up 5 more, so it's 1st and 15 from the 42 of Wichita State, who would like to come up with a big defensive series. Gene Taylor, number 1, flanked out wide to the left side, and number 81, top of your screen. Shotgun, Sweeney, shovel pass inside, Lavelle Thomas, and a good defensive play, sealed off by number 85. That's Kirk Allen again out of Wichita, Kansas, the young sophomore, and he stayed in his lane, David.
Well, they were 9 for 9, and this is a forward pass. Sweeney was 9 for 9 on this. There is just a shovel pass, Lovering again in front, and they get a big gain.
2nd down, 7 yards to go after that 8-yard pickup. Again, Gene Taylor deployed wide to the left, a junior out of Oakland, California, and another junior out of Los Angeles, top of the screen in Baker. Play action fake, Sweeney, pump fake, man open, looks downfield, Taylor, touchdown! For Kevin Sweeney, his 13th touchdown catch or toss of the year, and for Taylor, his 5th touchdown reception. Randall Cooper back there on the coverage. But we'll take a look, David Hum, on the isolation. You can't lay the ball in. He dropped it over the shoulder absolutely perfectly.
A great throw by Kevin Sweeney. Gene Taylor, they've got to respect the play fake. Here Taylor just gets outside and runs away from Randall Cooper right over the outside shoulder. A perfect throw.
Boy, that is tough to do, to drop the ball in that well. They say of Kevin Sweeney, the coaching staff, and not just Jim Sweeney, his dad, no one throws the post pattern any better than Kevin Sweeney. Now, the post is the down and in.
Well, I think
the athletic director here at Fresno State awarding Kevin Sweeney the ball. He just broke the PCAA passing record, and there his father, boy, one of 8 children. You never imagined that Kevin, way back when, would turn out to be this great passer.
Well, Kevin Sweeney just broke the records of Randall Cunningham from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So believe me, he's only a junior. He could put those records totally out of sight.
Well, you know, when you talk of Randall Cunningham, they thought he was a very top pro prospect. He went, of course, to the Philadelphia Eagles, started some games this year, replacing Ron Jaworski. Well, if Randall Cunningham was a top pro prospect, that would seem to make Kevin Sweeney a shoo-in. The point after is good, and very quickly, with 11:58 left to go, the Bulldogs on top over Wichita State, 7-0.
Puts this ball up, a lot of air under it. Lets Gene Taylor just run underneath it. A tough start for Wichita State. I know Ron Chismar wanted his team to get off to a real good start. They need to have a good drive right here.
So the Shockers now break out on offense, and it's Albert Hunley deployed wide to the left. Brian McDonald, the young quarterback, out of the pocket, will run, pulls it down, needs a block, dives to the 27-yard line. So a pickup of 5. It brings up 2nd down and 5. We talked to Brian McDonald, the young quarterback, just a junior out of St. Louis. In the backfield, he works with Velasco Smith, number 26, Dwight Eaton, number 22. The wide receivers are 17, Albert Hunley, and number 11, Brock Fewen. Interior lineman at center, the senior out of Cocoa Beach, Florida, Willie Womack. The guards are Keith Blunt and Pat Kane, 75 and 69. And the tackles, 79, Jerry Quirk, and 64, John Pratt. Hunley, top of the screen, out to the right side is Fewen. Backs in the I-Pro set, Velasco Smith and Dwight Eaton. Motion across, that is Brock Fewen. Tailback Velasco Smith, and he hammers up across the 30-yard line, very close to 1st down yardage. The defense of Fresno State facing the Shockers on offense, and it is a 3-4-4, at least at the moment. And you can see that they have allowed only 350 yards per game and under 20 points per game on average. What do you think he had for dinner?
Anything he wants.
It was a 1st down, so from the 34 of the Shockers, it's 1st and 10. Fewen wide to the left. To the near side comes Hunley. Motioning across is Velasco Smith. Backpedaling McDonald. The junior quarterback unloads and underthrows his man. In fact, it looked like a misread between the quarterback and the wide receiver, Velasco Smith, out of the backfield.
Brian McDonald under tremendous pressure there. This Fresno State defense is dominated by their linebackers, and he's going to see a lot of different looks from that defense tonight. They're going to bring a lot of people. I'm sure what Fresno State would like to do is put a lot of different defensive schemes in tonight to make Bowling Green prepare for them for the California Bowl.
Ron Chismar, the head coach, says of his quarterback, number 4, Brian McDonald, that he is a class gentleman, and from the neck up, he is as smart a quarterback as you will find. Backs are evened up now, Eaton and Velasco Smith. Fewen motions top of the screen. Smith gets a block across the 40. Down at the 44-yard line, very close to 1st down yardage. Let's call it a 1st down for Wichita State. Mike Stewart, the junior out of Bakersfield, California, came up from the safety spot to make the tackle.
Velasco Smith, he's only 5'7", 181 pounds. He gets behind Keith Blunt, number 75. Hard to see him at only 5'7". They a very good tackle there by Mike Stewart. Once you get a 5'7" kid behind a big offensive lineman coming around, it's hard for that defensive back to see him.
Coach Chismar says of number 26, Velasco Smith, he's a sawed-off runt. Hard to find.
And he can bench press 375 pounds.
That's not a runt. McDonald blitzes on, reads it perfectly. Safety valve out, gets the 1st down and more inside of the territory of the Bulldogs down at the 44-yard line. Eric Denson, number 23. Anytime, Dave Hum, you get that running back ISO'd one-on-one on a linebacker, it should go for big yardage.
We're going to see a corner blitz here by number 25, Rourke Kelly. Now, I have to believe that Kelly had to pick up Denson, that he was his responsibility. Absolutely no one on Denson, their all-time ground gainer. and he's also a very good pass receiver.
And how about the head of Brian McDonald? That's what Ron Chismar was saying, a very smart quarterback. McDonald, by the way, in 10 games, 120 completions, 252 attempts, 4 interceptions, 8 touchdowns coming in. Airborne again, and down he goes, sacked for a loss of 11 yards back at the 45-yard line of Wichita State. Crashing through Pacheco along with Cliff Hanneman.
Cliff Hanneman, their rover, is one of their best pass rushers. They use him in their stunt and their schemes there. Mike Walker, you're going to see they're going to sandwich him. It looked like he tried to get that ball off and just pulled it down, but believe me, that stings.
Pretty good play by the nose guard, Chris Pacheco, 6-footer, 255, a junior out of Downey, California. And Cliff Hanneman, the linebacker. Hanneman is backed up by Bryce Malavasi, and if that name sounds familiar, it should. His dad is a former coach of the Rams. 2nd and 21. McDonald evens up the running backs. Hundley wide to the left, to the near side is Fewen. Little draw play, Velasco Smith. You saw the great speed. He needed one block to try to turn the corner, and it looked like his footing just kind of gave way.
Well, Velasco Smith, very quick. You know, he never played high school ball. He's a kid that they got from, they saw him on a field playing flag football. Just a really good athlete. Here they'll run the draw on 2nd and very long. Smith almost breaks a tackle here.
And right there, just tripped up. So it's 3rd and 18, an obvious passing situation. Slot to the left with Hundley and Fewen. Backs are evened up. Heath and Velasco Smith. Deep drop, quick drop by McDonald. Wants it all, got a man open, fires, and it's complete. Inside the 10. 1st and goal for the Shockers. Jack Owens, the tight end.
What a big play for Wichita State. Ron Chismar believes that Jack Owens is one of their best pass receivers. Watch Owens. He's just going to go down and run a post. He just straight down the middle. He's going to beat Mike Stewart here. A great throw by Brian McDonald and a big play.
Junior college transfer out of El Camino, California. Coming on strong after his sophomore season. 20 catches coming in. 173 yards, averaging about 9 yards per catch. Almost had his first touchdown. 1st and goal. Wichita State coming back dramatically. Slot wide to the left. Inside is Fewen. Outside is Hundley. There goes Velasco Smith. Cuts it back inside. Hammers down inside the 5. Loose football, and it's turned over. The Bulldogs come up with it. It is Greg Ramsey out of Coalinga, California.
Well, they miss a scoring opportunity here. This is where coaches, they tell their backs, you've got to protect the ball. Watch Velasco Smith. He's got the ball in his left arm. He just fumbles the ball as he goes down. A real bad break. That could have evened the game up and given him a lot of momentum.
So a big turnover as Wichita State was driving for the tying touchdown. 1st and 10 Bulldogs when we come back.
We heard so much about Stephen Baker, his nickname the touchdown maker. He catches this ball over Maurice Foxworth, the best defensive back on this team. Foxworth playing with a bad ankle. 49-yard reception. Tell me Kevin Sweeney can't throw the long ball. Tremendous concentration by Stephen Baker.
What an adjustment on the ball. You saw 2 or 3 moves to go for it. He looked like Lockett out of Long Beach.
Jim Sweeney said he's seen Stephen Baker make moves during practice during the week that he wished that he'd saved for the games, just so his fans can enjoy it.
He said it's too bad. He said the coaches are the only one that get to see those moves. Line of scrimmage was the 3. It's the reverse. There goes Baker the other way. He's got a convoy. 1st and 10 again for the Bulldogs at the 26-yard line of Wichita State. So he goes to his bag of tricks very early.
Well, right here they run the reverse to Baker. Initially, he has his 2 best blockers out there, Kevin Sweeney and Greg Lovering. Watch 67, Terry Lafitte. Baker can do almost everything.
I think the linebackers bit. Whoops, they even fall down. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. I-pro set, tailback, convoy around the left side, blocking up front by Savage, by Lerma. And it's a pickup of about 4 yards, brings up 2nd down and 6. You know, we talked about Jim Sweeney going to his bag of tricks. He said the other day at practice, I majored in trickery. But then he did confess, he said, well, when you run trick plays, the trick plays are really only as good as the players who run them.
he's got a lot of great talent here. His specialists here, and because of the passing game, it's easy to recruit wide receivers and running backs like he's got.
From the 21 of the Shockers, 2nd down and 4. First man through, blocking on that right side by Lafitte is Lavelle Thomas, the senior out of Tulare, California. And it's close to first down yardage again for Fresno State. Little trap blocking. Jim Sweeney says this is the finest offensive line he's had in 8 years.
He's got a smaller offensive line. Watch Terry Lafitte. He misses his block. There, Kirk Allen, who's the best linebacker they've got, comes in. They said he's an overachiever, but he's always around the ball.
Kevin Sweeney, and he's just a junior. Think he's got the hot hand? Those look like your stats for a whole game.
My career stats.
6:08 left to go. It's been a scoreless first quarter for Wichita State. They got it down 1st and goal from the 3, fumbled the ball away after a good defensive play by Greg Ramsey, stripping Velasco Smith of the pigskin. And then one quick play, a 49-yard completion from Kevin Sweeney. An over-the-shoulder catch, a great adjustment by Stephen Baker. And you know, these Thursday night PCAA games that we have done, we've seen Charles Lockett, one of the best receivers I think I've seen in recent years. We saw him make some remarkable adjustments on the ball. And now Stephen Baker. So there's some tremendous wide receivers, whether they're junior college transfers or have played all 4 years.
The PCAA has tremendous competition here on the West Coast with the Pac-10. So I think what the PCAA coaches have done is said, if we can't compete, we'll show our audiences some very entertaining football, and that's what they do.
A little dive play that didn't over that left side, but then they didn't need very much. They needed to get it down close to the 16. It's about at the 15.5. James Williams behind the blocking of Mike Savage and David Lerma. Also, the left guard is number 78, Mike Chulanza, 6'1", 250, a junior out of Fresno. So he stayed at home also. The Bulldogs headed to that California Bowl against the Mid-American champion Bobcats of Bowling Green University. To the left side, Chris Leonard, number 85. James Williams works that right side, gets it down to about the 12 before Kirk Allen, number 85, wrestled him out of bounds. The sophomore out of Wichita, Kansas. And if Allen, the linebacker, is going to make as many tackles the whole game as he's made in the first 7 minutes, it's going to be a long night defensively because he's not getting much help.
Well, Allen's going to see that ball run at him a lot. They do a lot of things. I'll tell you, James Williams and Kelly Skipper alternating at tailback. They've taken so much pressure off of Kevin Sweeney, where last year the backs were hurt. They had to throw virtually every down. This year they're almost perfectly balanced.
Slot formation to the left side. Gene Taylor inside. Stephen Baker is outside. Backs are evened up. Williams and Thomas. That's motion by Baker. Sweeney bootlegs, dumps it off, got his man out of the backfield, and that is Kelly Skipper. Skipper is down close to the 5-yard line, and it should bring up a 3rd down situation, 3rd and short.
You can see a pretty happy Kevin Sweeney. Sweeney not really known as a rollout quarterback here. It's just a little quick flat pattern, almost a pick pattern there by Stephen Baker. Great catch, just loses his footing. Ball a little bit behind him.
And then he dropped the ball, but they say his forward progress was inside the 5, so it's 1st and goal for the Bulldogs. Collision at the line of scrimmage. Kelly Skipper, who is just a freshman, 5'6", 175 pounds. Now, if the name Skipper sounds familiar, it should. His dad, Jim, is an assistant to Jim Mora with the Philadelphia/Baltimore Stars. And they say of Kelly Skipper, he's another one of those Bulldogs that's kind of difficult to find because he's got that low center of gravity.
Well, these backs are small, and once they get behind these pulling offensive linemen, it's hard for the linebackers and defensive backs to spot them.
Taylor, the only wide receiver, deployed top of the screen. James Williams hits it for the touchdown. Nice move right at the goal line, and he takes it in for the 2nd Bulldog score. Williams, the leading ground gainer, came in with over 904 yards. That's his 12th rushing touchdown of the year.
Well, right guard here, Terry Lafitte, number 67, gets out in front of this counter draw play. Does a good job there on Westfield, the linebacker, gets Skipper into the end zone.
And he just outran Ken Stonebreaker from the safety spot. There's 41, just can't get to the corner. Dives in, Williams does. 2nd, snap, spot kick is up and good. So, in just over 10.5 minutes of football, the Bulldogs have beaten the Shockers 14-0. Scoreless and is becoming a long first quarter for the Shockers. They had it down at the 3-yard line of the Bulldogs of Fresno State. But then that scoring drive of 97 yards after the fumble recovery by Anthony Nunn. First play was 49 yards, and Williams with that little 4.5-yard scamper, his 12th rushing touchdown. Velasco Smith upended, does a somersault at the 20.5-yard line, and that's where Wichita State will start now, 1st and 10. Well, what a game our producer John Wildhack has on Saturday night. Penn State ranked #1 against the Pittsburgh Panthers. 7:30 Eastern Time. Jim Simpson and Paul McGuire. In fact, Mr. Wildhack has his own airplane standing by to whisk him from Fresno, California into Pantherland at the confluence of the Monongahela and Allegheny River.
The confluence?
That's what they said. 4.5 left to go in this first quarter. Velasco Smith evened up with Dwight Eaton. Brock Fewen deployed top of the screen to the bottom. It's Albert Hundley, and Brian McDonald will try to get things a little more even. Velasco Smith, nothing doing. A loss of 4 on the play. Velasco Smith had a tough time of it. The 5'7", 181-pound junior out of Tallahassee never played it down in high school football. He ran track. He competed in the weightlifting team in Lincoln High School. He was discovered after high school in community college for 2 years before transferring over to Wichita State. And he shared time with Eric Dennison through the first 5 games. Sat out the 6th game against West Texas State with a sprained ankle and has come back pretty strong. 2nd and 15. Poor Velasco Smith is not getting any help from his offensive line. Watch the penetration of Ramsey 87, Pacheco 99, and Walker 90, the front 3, and then everybody comes.
Well, 79, Jerry Quick there gets out. Looks like Velasco Smith almost cut that back a little too tight. You've got to give your lineman a chance to get that block.
So with 3:20 and the clock winding down, 3rd and 16. Good blitz down, David Hunt.
Well, this is a down where I think Jim Sweeney will just stay in his standard defense. You can see them all drop back. Tough down to get 3rd and this long.
Protection breaks down, and now McDonald fires it into the tuba section. Finally getting through was Mark Olson, number 59, putting pressure. The offensive line, realistically from a quarterback standpoint, how long can a quarterback hold the football before his offensive line really must release or it's holding?
Well, the offensive coaches basically train the linemen to try to, if they can, ideally to keep them out for about 4 seconds. But then again, it depends. When it's 3rd down and 16, they've got to do a little bit better job and give that quarterback time to get the ball down the field.
Armagost back deep, number 28 for Wichita State. And Stephen Baker hit a snap, and it's into the end zone, and that's a safety. And that's exactly what Ron Chismar did not need. Some early mistakes. The fumble at the 3-yard line. Now a missed snap, and it's 2 more points. Greg Edwards is the long snapper.
Frank puts that up a little too high. He airmailed that over Dave Armagost.
So after the safety, it's 16-0, and the Bulldogs get the ball back. Back for the kickoff after this. For Ron Chismar and his Shockers, as we said at the top of the telecast, they have been shocked. They've lost their last 2 in a row. They were shut out in their last game, and they are not real crisp here in the first 13 minutes at Fresno State. The Bulldogs, bowl-bound, 9-0-1. They get it back after the safety. Fleeman spots it from the 20. And back at the other 20, Julius Pitts. He gets it up near the 47-yard line. Julius Pitts, no relation to Elijah Pitts, nor Zezu Pitts.
Well, there he broke a tackle by Alan Smith, the linebacker, and showed just how strong that wide receiver is.
Kevin Sweeney's only 6 out of 6 in the first quarter. 124 yards, and you saw that graphic very briefly, and 1 touchdown. His 13th of the year. He could be carving out some career numbers here before this night is finished.
Well, they think that eventually that he can break all of Doug Flutie's records, but with the balanced attack, they're not throwing the ball as much as they used to.
Lavelle Thomas down at about the 46-yard line of Wichita State. Now, their defense has to do something. You can't fall behind 23-0 in the first quarter. You've got to come up some kind of a turnover, at least limit them to a field goal.
Well, Ron Chismar said initially they didn't really want to blitz too much because they're afraid they'd get burned, but here they've been sitting in their regular defense, and the Fresno State offense has basically done what they want. So they're going to have to do some different things. Maybe blitz, bring some safeties, just do some things to try to confuse Kevin Swinney and get some turnovers.
Wichita State jumped offside. Jumping inside is James Williams down to the 34-yard line of the Shockers. Jimmy Mann, the senior out of Wichita, Kansas, a 6'4", 220-pound linebacker, very strong, very agile, the coaches say, number 84, the first of the Shockers to get there. Actually, Jimmy Mann, with that size, he was a defensive lineman before moved to outside linebacker.
Decline, first down.
Ron Chismar says that he hits about as hard as anybody on the team. He is the best pass rusher on the team.
Look at the drive block by Lafitte right there. You saw Dukins earlier there jump offside, so it's offsides on Wichita State.
So it brings up 1st and 10. They will take the play by James Williams. Ball just inside the 35. Play action fake by Swinney. He's got everybody open. Wants it all. Fires in the end zone, and it is no good. What a remarkable catch by Stephen Baker. In the middle of double coverage, came down with the ball, but was beyond the end marker. Watch number 43, Darrell Whiteley, 46, Maurice Foxworth. David, they should have had the interception.
Maurice Foxworth was running the corner along with Baker there. He saw him coming back at him. Still a great throw by Kevin Swinney.
Not a bad catch by Baker.
Great athlete.
Tight end was wide open over the middle. Mark Scamray, number 80. Swinney went for the touchdown toss of 35 yards. Coming out wide left, bottom of your screen is Baker. Top of the screen is Gene Taylor. Swinney bends in on 2nd down and 10. Straight drop. Backs flare out. Everybody's out. Loose footing over the middle, and it is incomplete. Should have been intercepted at the 17-yard line. Derek Westfield, the freshman out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 40, had the ball. Now, Swinney on the year has thrown just 7 interceptions. This should have been 8.
Well, Kevin Swinney throws this right to Derek Westfield. A lot of times when things are going well, you're going to try to force balls in. There was a little high throwing intended for Baker, but Westfield had a chance to pick that ball off.
Ron Chismar said of Westfield yesterday, he's a freshman. He said his biggest problem is not making a freshman adjustment. His biggest problem was leaving his mom and his sister back home in Fort Wayne. 3rd and 10. Swinney backpedals, backs flare out. Looks like a flood formation. Swinney says run. Somebody come back and help out. Now Kevin will pull it down and gets chopped down at the 33-yard line of Wichita State. Pretty good adjustment that time, David Hum, by the secondary. Let's see if we can watch some of that coverage.
We'll see the secondary in this picture right here. You see they come out. It's just basically a zone defense. You can see Maurice Foxworth there on the right of your screen. He's going to come up and make the tackle on Kevin Swinney. But you can see the receiver on the left, we couldn't get his number, was wide open.
I believe that was Gene Taylor, number 1. He was open at the 20-yard line, but Swinney, when you've got those 6'4", 6'5" defensive linemen chasing you, and Kevin, of course, stands just 6 feet, and that's stretching it. Field goal try is on its way, and it is no good. Wide to the left side. Sergio Lopez Chavera, who was kicking them at practice, and Barry Belli, the Bulldog specialist, watched him at practice the other day. Belli missed from about 42 yards away. So the score stands 16-0. We talk about the 9-0 record of the Bulldogs. They beat the Rebels of UNLV by 20 points. An easy win against Oregon State. They won their first 3. Then they tied Hawaii. Then they won 6 in a row. The big game, their Super Bowl, Long Beach State by 2 points. And that was a cliffhanger because, as David Hum pointed out, Long Beach State had 2 chances for the winning field goal and missed them both.
Doug Gaynor had 429 yards throwing in that game. So Fresno State fortunate to win the game. It was just a real emotional game with the 2 missed field goals that allowed them to beat Long Beach State.
Boy, that was some game. Gaynor on one side and Swinney on the other. Must have taken about 4 hours and 20 minutes to play.
Well, and they only played that last Saturday, and here they're back on the field on Thursday night, so Jim Swinney has to be real happy with the way his team started out.
And not very happy was the man you just saw on the sidelines, Ron Chismar. 3-7 this year. Shut out his last game, losing the last 2. 2nd and 10, Brian McDonald blitzes on, picks it up, got his man out of the backfield, down at the 35-yard line. It's only a pickup of 2 yards, and there was one heck of a collision with just 2 seconds left in this first quarter. Eric Denson, number 23, on the receiving end, Denson is the leading receiver with 24 catches coming in, but that one was way shy of first down yardage. He sends number 11, Brock Ewan, wide to the left, and at the top of your screen, Albert Pundler. Backs are evened up. Eaton and Eric Dennison. Look out. McDonald gets away, pulls it down, but will not get the first down. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage up near the 37-yard line, and again the punting situation now for Wichita State. You know, David, head coach Jim Sweeney was very concerned about an emotional letdown tonight, and he used a little psychological ploy that he told us about at practice.
Well, what he did, he gave his players, each one of his players at their pregame meal, a small packet that would fit, fold a piece of paper that would fit in their wallet, and he says don't open it until right after pregame. When they went back in the locker room after pregame, they all opened their packets, and what was in it was a very small mirror. He said, if you want to see the guy that's responsible for us playing well tonight, you're looking at him right now.
Stephen Baker bobbled the ball at the 23, and it'll be 1st and 10 from that point for the Bulldogs. They lead 16-0 after that 38-yard punt. Of course, the last time the Shockers were in punt formation, the snapper centered it over the end zone, and it was a safety, and it's 16-0. College basketball on ESPN 85-86 begins on Sunday, November 24th, 7 o'clock Eastern time, and it's a big game. The Bruins of UCLA up against Dean Smith and the Tar Heels of North Carolina. ESPN, the home of television's best college basketball schedule, and it all starts on Sunday, November 24th, as we'll jump it up live on ESPN. Sweeney pitches back. Velasco Smith dives across the 25 near the 26 as they get the wave going here at Fresno State. First quarter stats. Rushing statistics, Wichita State outgained on the ground by 40 yards, outpassed by 70 yards. Time of possession means very little. It's not how long you have the ball, it's what you do with it when you've got it.
You know, it's amazing the psychological things that coaches try to come up with in a big game, to have 90 mirrors made and say, man, the guy you're looking at in the mirror is the one responsible. Jim Sweeney, he's kind of a remarkable guy just to talk to him. I had a chance to meet with him yesterday, and say he's very intense about his team performing well on national television.
Kevin Sweeney pulls it back down and picks up 2 short yards, so it brings up a 3rd down situation. Thomas Glincy out of East St. Louis, Missouri, the senior linebacker, the first to get there. Well, they had the wave going just a couple of seconds ago. Remember when they did that in a Tampa Bay game very early? They did it when the Buccaneers had the ball. They did it when the Buccaneers were on defense. They made so much noise when the Bucs were on offense. They made mistakes. After the game, head coach John McKay said, who's responsible? Somebody said it was anonymous. He said, well, we'll have to blame Mrs. Anonymous. Sweeney dumps it off. James Williams needs a block. Dives to the 35, and that is a Bulldog first down. Randall Cooper, cornerback, number 30 out of Atlanta, Georgia, came over on the coverage, and Cooper makes a good one-on-one tackle.
Well, Kevin Sweeney shows the touch that he has. He throws this over linebacker Don Weatherby. Watch Randall Cooper come up and make a real good stop on James Williams.
They say Cooper is a highly skilled athlete. He's just learning how to play. He was redshirted, and he said if anybody can come out of high school and make an adjustment, it is this young man, Randall Cooper. Another young man, Anthony Mosley, is tackled by Don Weatherby as they go around that left side on 1st and 10. Line of scrimmage was the 35-yard line. They'll spot it up across the 40. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5. And there's what Mr. Mosley has done. And that's what Jim Sweeney does. He's got so many offensive weapons.
Well, last year he said his running backs were hurt so bad that Kevin Sweeney got to throw so much, his stats were real good. This year there's such a well-balanced attack, and it shows in their record. Last year 6-6, now 9-0-1.
Motion in the interior line, the offensive set. Anthony Mosley in the backfield. A lot of dead ball fouls tonight. The ball has been dead for Wichita State. That offensive front again for the Bulldogs as you're looking in their huddle. 75, Mike Savage, the junior center out of Madera, California. The guard, 67, Terry Lafitte out of Los Angeles, and Mike Chulansip out of Fresno. David Lerma, 63, is the left guard. He's out of Escondido, California. The left tackle, rather. And Greg Lovering out of Bellflower, California, 74, is the right tackle. 2nd and 8. Not much doing for James Williams, the junior out of Brunswick, Georgia. Wouldn't expect to find too many Georgia youngsters here in Fresno, California, but they do a good recruiting job.
Well, I tell you, Wichita State, they're the ones, they've had problems recruiting in the state of Kansas. They've got to compete with the University of Kansas, Kansas State, Missouri, and Nebraska. So they are thin right now. Ron Chismar coming in, a rebuilding program, his second year of that.
The Shockers finished their Missouri Valley Conference play with a 2-3 mark after dropping a 26-0 decision to Illinois State last Saturday. Airborne goes Kevin Sweeney on 3rd and 10. All kinds of time. Fires and misfires at the 45-yard line of Wichita State. Gene Taylor was open. And you know, as a former quarterback, when you miss that much, the release was a little early.
Well, Kevin Sweeney, you saw him drop back. He had so much time, you almost didn't believe it. He started moving his feet, threw the ball high to Taylor.
Mike Mancini will do the punting. Randall Cooper is back deep. Mancini had a great game last week against Long Beach State, especially late to get them out of deep, deep trouble. This one will not get them out of very much trouble at all. He slithers it off the side of his foot, and it'll be down at the 38-yard line of the Shockers. So with 11 minutes left to go before halftime, it's still 16-0 Bulldogs.
Since its introduction in the U.S., BMW has outperformed the energy crisis, the economic crisis, single-handedly caused the automotive identity crisis. And now...
Come on now, every time 3 quarterbacks would go down with the Raiders, Al Davis would call you first.
Well, they call me, but they cut me so many times I was always home to answer that call.
But you've got that 10-year pension.
I feel very fortunate with my career.
A very slow developing play around the left side that didn't, and it'll bring up 2nd down and long. Actually, you were out at a Raiders practice a couple of weeks ago, and some of the players said, wait a minute, are you coming back, Hummer?
I did scare a few players. When I walked in the front door, we did it after our Cal State Long Beach San Jose State game, and I walked in the practice field on Friday morning, and I got a lot of looks like, you're not back again, are you?
There is Ron Chismar over on the sideline. His team, of course, Wichita State. They played their final Missouri Valley Conference game last Saturday. It was game number 183 in the MVC. Brian McDonald wants the first down. Man, he's wide open out of the backfield. Jose Wilson will score. Rod Webster took the pump fake, and Brian McDonald threw that one on a string. So the Shockers shut out against Illinois State. Had it 1st and goal at the 3. Fumbled the football. A 97-yard drive and then a safety. And watch the form of this young Brian McDonald.
Brian McDonald, only 5'11". Watch him throw this on a line. It's going to be over Rourke Kelly, and a big play for Wichita State. Here's the result. Number 25, Jose Wilson, all open. You can see Kelly trying to catch up. He's gone.
And a little celebration into the end zone. Wichita State will take a timeout and talk about whether they should go for 2 points or not. They trail now by 10. It eclipsed by 20 yards, his longest catch of the year. And the Shockers on the short end by 10 will apparently go for a 2-point conversion. Lighting up to the top of your screen is Albert Hunley, the senior out of Denver. And Brian McDonald bends in. Roll out to the right. Looks, man is wide open, and it is deflected in the end zone. Rod Webster made a quick adjustment on the ball. Hunley was about as wide open as you could get, and Brian McDonald just waited a little bit too long.
Well, Brian McDonald rolls out, tries to get out of trouble here and buy some time. You'll see on the left of your screen, there's Anthony Nunn, and there's a deflection right there. There's no chance for him to get back to the ball.
Kevin Mason, number 41, deflected the ball. Now, watch the pump fake. Brian McDonald. Webster comes up on the fake, and there, Jose Wilson is streaking wide open. He's got a 6-yard bulge, and the race is on. The tortoise and the hare.
Ron Chismar said his team needed something to quiet this crowd down, and it definitely has done that.
Stop the wave. Anything that'll stop the wave's a good idea. What are the 3 worst things that have happened to football?
You didn't give me the answers.
Artificial surface, indoor stadiums, and the wave. That'll generate some mail.
Sure.
Especially if you live in Minnesota.
Or Seattle.
Sweeney now, 9 out of 12, 138 yards and 1 touchdown. There's Brian Jose Wilson.
There.
That is Brad Fleeman. He is the kickoff specialist. Sergio Lopez Chavarro is the place kicker. Too early for an onside kick. Trailing by 10, 10-15. It is end over end. It is not very deep, and it is at the 8-yard line. Kelly Skipper skips up across the 24, and it's 1st and 10, and that's where Kevin Sweeney will start. Again, Kevin is 9 out of 12, 138 yards, 1 touchdown, and he still has 10:09 in the first half.
Kevin Sweeney was so successful throwing last year. This year with the balanced attack, he hasn't been able to throw as much as he did last year. And for a quarterback in this kind of system, I know he'd like to put the ball in the air a lot more.
Coming out wide to the right is Gene Taylor. Top of the screen is Baker. Backs are Williams and Lavelle Thomas, and backpedaling, Kevin Sweeney unloads, got his man, the tight end, that's Scambray, and he hammers it near the 38-yard line before he's hammered out of bounds for a first down. Bulldogs on a roll once again. Scambray, the senior out of Fresno, California, in the grasp of Darrell Whiteland. Scambray, younger brother of an ex-tight end here at Fresno State, Scott Scambray, out of Bullard High School, 2-year letterman in football, 2-year letterman in basketball, and one of only 4 3-year lettermen for SFU. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line, and again, Kevin Sweeney will airman. Got his man out of the backfield, and that is number 37, Anthony Mosley. Mosley is the youngest of 8 children. He was an honor roll high school student at Selma High School. He's also a member of an athlete of Fellowship Christian Athletes.
Watch the hustle of Mark Dukins right here on the pass rush. Sweeney, it's about a 5-step drop, a quick release. Watch the hustle of Dukins here. 6'5", about 274 pounds.
Junior, right in the grass, out of the backfield. Kevin Sweeney on the mark again at the 48-yard line. Scambray is quite an interesting story because Jim Sweeney was very honest about it the other day at practice. He said there are 2 or 3 tight ends on our roster that are better tight ends than Mark. But he always grades out better in the films, and he'll come up with the key catch for you. He doesn't make any mistakes. Better athletes, better tight ends, but not
There's Jim Sweeney there ahead. Coaches, they need the people that they can depend on. Scambray is one of those.
Out of the shotgun on 1st and 10, the shovel pass. Anthony Mosley. Anthony Mosley really came on after the spring practice. He had the most consistent 20 days here at Fresno State of any of the Bulldogs. He is very adept at short yardage situations, and he's another one of those Bulldog runners built like a Bulldog, low to the ground, low center of gravity. He is also, the coaches say, a great addition to the kicking game. He's not the kicker, he's one of the hitters. 2nd down and 7. Quick release. Mosley again. Knees turning for a first down at the 37-yard line. Ken Stonebreaker, number 41, had his hands full. Look at the thighs.
Mosley limps a little bit there, but watch him stop and set up his blocks. Number 67, Terry Lafitte, gets out there with Mike Savage. Watch the cutback right there. Great play. Lafitte gets a block. Great job by his offensive lineman.
And you see the legs, they keep churning. We showed you those thighs from Mosley. Number 26, Kelly Skipper, going the other way. And he gets down to about the 33-yard line. So that offensive front, Savage, Lafitte, Chulansuk, Lerma, and Lovering, doing an outstanding job of opening the holes for the running backs and also in pass protection.
I think we've seen some great pictures there of the offensive linemen pulling and trapping, and that's what's made the running game so successful. Kirk Allen getting a lot of work.
The first mistake Fresno State has made all game. Kelly Skipper, the freshman, fell on the loose football. Bring up 2nd down, make it 3rd down and long, but keep in mind, when you've got a Kevin Sweeney, he had the ball on the 3-yard line, threw a 49-yarder out of his end zone.
Right there, Kelly Skipper just takes his eye off the ball. That was a good pitch by Kevin Sweeney. Watch Ken Stonebreaker come in and make a stop for a big loss.
Ken Stonebreaker has stepped in and done a fine job at free safety in this football game. Been around the football, something that some of the white jerseys have not done. Pitch back going the other way. Vince Wesson can throw it back to Kelly Sweeney, and this one is picked off. Intercepted. And down inside Bulldog territory. Number 48, that is Mark Argabright.
Mason, he lines up as the tailback there, fakes the sweep. A good job of scouting by Wichita State. They've thrown this down by the goal line. Argabright comes up and makes a good catch. They've shown that play, but they've shown it when they've been inside the 10-yard line there. The defense did a good job of recognizing Wesson as a tailback.
One of the Shocker fans who made the trip, Ron Chismar, said it took 4.5 hours to get here. They had 160-mile-an-hour headwinds. McDonald deep, drop at the 5-yard line. That would have been a remarkable catch by Albert Hunley. Webster back there in the coverage was all over it. Nice throw by that man, Brian McDonald. What do you like about Brian McDonald? The feet, the good release?
Brian McDonald 2 years ago was an option quarterback. Ron Chismar's made him into a drop back. Here he throws a good ball. Hunley, their deep threat is just a little bit inside, but almost a great catch.
And you saw the smart play by Rod Webster, number 19, the sophomore out of Fresno. He grabbed that left elbow and pulled it away, caused him to drop the ball. 2nd down and 10. McDonald bends in. Hunley wide to the left side. Ewan, top of the screen. Big hole. Velasco Smith cracks it inside the 40, and that should be a 1st down for the Shockers. Let's talk about motivation now. Chismar's ball club, Wichita State, 3-7. No reason to be on the same football field. Falls behind 16-0. Might fold their 10. 2 big plays. They fumble at the 3, and then the safety costs them 8 points. But a quick throw, they get back in the game. They're down by 10. The interception, they score here. They're back in the football game.
They have quite a bit. Ron Chismar said that they like the opportunity of playing on national television and also playing a 9-0-1 team.
Could salvage their season if they were to upset Fresno State, the Bulldogs bowl-bound, etc. And bowling inside goes Dwight Eaton behind the blocking of Willie Womack, the senior center out of Cocoa Beach, Florida, and the right guard, Keith Blunt, the senior out of Little Rock, 255 and 250. Tackle made by Kevin Mason, number 41 defensively for Fresno State.
I don't think Jim Sweeney's very happy right now. He came in, they controlled the 1st quarter. Right now, the Fresno State team looks a little bit flat. You can see Wichita State, their sideline, their coaches, they're getting a little pumped up.
Jim Sweeney's got a sign in his office. He says, when you win, you get a tremendous feeling of exhilaration. When you lose, you get a tremendous feeling of resolve. You resolve never to lose again. 2nd and 5. It will be 3rd and 4 as Velasco Smith, who came on strong after their game against Drake, tied the Shocker record for most consecutive games over 100 yards with 3. A very tough runner, Velasco Smith. Inside, he has breakaway speed, and that's the major reason, I think, David, why he took the starting job away.
I'll tell you, he's a short kid, but he's awfully strong. Here's 3rd down and 4, or 3rd down and 3. They need to get a 1st down.
Straight ahead over that left side, blocking by Pat Kane, the senior out of Arvada, Colorado, and John Pratt, the junior out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Very close to 1st down yardage when they unpile. Looks from up here like it should be a 1st down.
Watch number 22, Dwight Eaton gets a great block right there, and that's the reason they got that 1st down. Velasco Smith right behind Eaton.
Well, they'll bring the sticks out. And while they do, we'll remind you that there is lots more college football action coming up on Saturday night here on ESPN. We've got the top-ranked Nittany Lions of Joe Paterno and Penn State taking on the Pitt Panthers. Jim Simpson, Paul McGuire to bring you that one, 7:30 Eastern Time. And our producer, John Wildhack, will charter on into Pittsburgh. What do you like in that game? The Nittany Lions of Joe Paterno or the man who has the Century 21 sign around his home in Pittsburgh?
Well, I like Penn State setting up for that Orange Bowl between the winner of the Nebraska-Oklahoma game.
From the iPro set, it is a 1st down. McDonald gives it to the tailback, Velasco Smith. And interesting, they've been throwing the football on 1st down, loosening up the defense. Now they go back to a dive play at the 25, and the defense keys on Velasco Smith.
Well, they try to be a balanced attack. I'm not sure they have the horses that Fresno State has, but Ron Chisman tries to have a balanced attack. Down here, you can really do both. really they've been successful throwing the ball, so you thought that he might let Brian McDonald throw it right there.
Let's watch the tight end, Jack Owens, the junior out of Carson, California, number 80. Brock Fewen comes wide to the near side. Top of your screen is Albert Hundley. Backs go to the I-Pro set. Eaton and Velasco Smith. McDonald, one man out, and batted down. They tried the post pattern to Hundley, and Anthony Nunn, number 96, 6'1", 230 pounds, the sophomore out of Dos Palos, California, batted that ball down.
Jim Sweeney thinks the strength of this defense is with his linebackers. They're the play fake. Nunn doesn't even bite at all. On the left of your screen, watch him jump up with that left hand, tip the ball and knock it down. 3rd down and 8 situation for Wichita State. This is real big right here.
Nunn, highly recruited, by the way, one of the better football players in high school. He is learning not to become quite as tentative as he was in his freshman season. 3rd and 8. Back at the 36-yard line. The blitz coming from the left side. Rourke Kelly, number 25, the senior out of Buena Park, California, and he was untouched.
Well, watch it from the end zone. Watch the right side of your screen. Brian McDonald drops back. He never sees Rourke Kelly. He does a good job of just holding on to that ball and not turning it over.
So on 4th and 19, let's see what the Shockers will do. As you look at Rourke Kelly going off, Jim Sweeney used the analogy the other day that he's trying to teach him to be Joe Louis, not Billy Kahn. You don't have to knock him out. You just pound him a little bit. Off the side of the foot by Armagost. Good field position. The Bulldogs still lead the Shockers by 10. 3 when it looked like Wichita State was getting back into the ball game. A blitz on 3rd and long by Kelly Rourke and a big sack. Another high snap.
Dave Armagost has to go up and get this snap again. You can see it kind of threw his timing off. You can see he's very upset. At least he got that one down. It didn't go over his head.
One was snapped over his head, and it cost Wichita State 2 points. Kelly Sweeney will go to work like a surgeon. James Williams. What a move outside. Explosive speed. He gets 6-7 yards all on his own.
Darrell Whitley, the strong safety, had to come up and make that tackle, but he made a great move on number 40, Derek Westfield, to get outside and make a good gain.
There is Ron Chismar over on the sideline, and there is Kevin Sweeney in the center of that Bulldog huddle, junior quarterback. Jim Sweeney, his dad, told me yesterday at practice that he thinks Kevin can get 250 yards tonight and maybe 250 yards against Bowling Green. He would then be about 100 yards shy of Flutie's mark. Derek Westfield, and a late penalty flag over on the sideline, I believe. James Williams wrestled to the ground, and let's see if there's a penalty flag to be checked out. Game, except for some dead ball fouls, has been relatively penalty free. Face mask. James Williams, the tailback out of Brunswick High School in Georgia. Let's see if we can pick up the face mask. Not there.
There Williams breaks a tackle.
But there. The right arm of Derek Westfield. That's a big yardage. We'll move it down across the 45 of the Shockers, where it's 1st and 10. So Kevin Sweeney, lots of time, David Hum, 2:17.
Well, 2:17 is a lot of time for this Fresno State offense. They've got so many weapons there with their wide receivers and backs. 2:17 is plenty of time to get in the end zone.
James Williams, the tailback. Taylor and Baker, the wide receivers, left and right. There goes James Williams. 4.5 speed, power, bursting ability, the big play, a threat anytime he gets the football. He had a 60-yard run and 129-yard spring effort. MVP, 2-year letterman in football in Brunswick High School, Georgia, and Westfield on the tackle again.
Freshman Derek Westfield's really playing great. Tough situation for a freshman to come in and defend such a great running game against James Williams and fellow tailback Kelly Skipper.
Coming out slotted to the right side, Gene Taylor and Stephen Baker. Bending in, Kelly Sweeney. Unloads, almost intercepted at the 34-yard line. A good defensive play. Number 30, Randall Cooper, the freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia. That time, I think he cheated a bit, David. I think he read the quarterback's eyes.
We'll see if Kevin Sweeney looks at his receiver. We can't really tell from this angle. Randall Cooper gets a good jump on this pass. If he could have caught that, he could have been gone for a touchdown.
And again, Ron Chismar said he's just learning how to play. He's just a freshman. Has as much talent as anybody on that Shocker team. They need 6 to keep the drive going. Sweeney can run for it around the right side. Blocker in front of him. Goes out of bounds at the 33. He knew where the sticks were at the 35. No need to get punished. Looked like David Hum.
He was on the sideline. That's why he looked like me. But there it shows 3 years of experience. He started since he's been a freshman. He shows a good job there of just getting the first down and getting out of bounds.
You know, I broadcast the last game you started as a quarterback in the National Football League.
You broadcast my first one also. It was one and the same.
Same game. Colts and Cowboys in Baltimore. From the 32, it's 1st and 10. Bulldogs lead by 10. 1:25 to go, and there goes James Williams, trap blocking inside. Chulansom, 78. Lerma, 63. When Jim Sweeney talks of his offensive line, again, he says this is the best offensive line I've had in 8 years at Fresno State, and he compared them to the Pittsburgh Steelers because they trap block so well. We've got 1:12 left to go before halftime. The Shockers on the short end by 10. Back with more after this. 8 on top over Wichita State. Wichita State, we started to tell you, played their 183rd and final Missouri Valley Conference football game last Saturday. The outcome the same as the team's first MVC contest way back in 1945. Tulsa shut them out back then, 61-0. Play action fake. Kevin Sweeney on 2nd and 6. All kinds of time because there's a penalty flag down. Sliding down at the 26 goes Sweeney. Want to bet it might be holding?
That flag's down in that area where they usually get holding. Sweeney was trying to throw the corner to Stephen Baker. A good job of coverage by Maurice Foxworth.
You know, David, I'm a little surprised. Most of the patterns that Kevin has thrown, or elected to throw, have been of the wide field variety. Down and out, corner, curls. And the coaches say he throws the post pattern so well, we've yet to see him throw the post over the middle.
Well, we've seen Wichita State sit in a basic zone defense, and a lot of times it's hard to take advantage of that deep middle with just that center fielder sitting back there. They're going to try a lot of things, and even the quick slant is one thing that's been really successful throwing to Stephen Baker.
Let's see if we can pick up the hold right here on the left side of the screen.
There you can see the holding by Terry Lafitte. He's got his right hand full of jersey. Here comes the flag. Pretty good throwing motion by that official. He brought it through it straight overhand. A good job.
Not as good as Brian McDonald or Kevin Sweeney. So after that penalty is assessed, it'll bring up 2nd down and long yardage. Again, they get the wave going here at Fresno State. Bulldog fans very boisterous. They had a big barbecue outside the stadium beforehand. It was, as you say, a late arriving crowd. Some of them not on low lead. Sweeney. Man wide open. 1st down at the 11-yard line. Stephen Baker, the junior out of Los Angeles, was wide open. Blown coverage in the secondary of the Shockers.
Great job of Kevin Sweeney standing in the pocket. But watch Stephen Baker in the concentration. Here you can see the secondary isolated.
Watch top of the screen. There he is, wide open just inside the 20.
Great job of getting 1 foot down. Great concentration by Stephen Baker.
The touchdown maker is what they call him. Here's another touchdown maker, and he's got it. James Williams. Blocking around that right side by Mike Savage, the junior center, number 75. Terry Lafitte, 67, the right guard, and Greg Lovering, 74, the right tackle. Williams cut it back at about the 11-yard line, and from then on in, nobody would get it. So it has been a very busy first half in the scoring department for the Bulldogs of Fresno State. Barry Belli, their outstanding place kicker, comes out. Mike Mancini, he is the holder. This one is being held by Brian Perry, and it is good. Let's take a look at the end zone touchdown jaunt of James Williams.
Watch Anthony Mosley, number 37, in the block that he throws to Spring Williams there. Great job. Good cut back there by James Williams into the end zone. I think this score really hurts Wichita State. They've been playing well. Watch the cutback behind Mosley's block.
So there is the Bulldog. He doesn't look happy, but one would assume he must be. He hasn't eaten in about 2-3 minutes. A 17-point deficit for the Shockers.
Going after a cameraman right there.
I'd like to take him out for a walk in the middle of the night. Wichita State, with just 40 seconds left, would obviously like to get back into this football game with some kind of a big play. Two very bad plays in the first half. They fumbled at the 3-yard line, the 3-yard line of the Bulldogs, cost themselves an easy touchdown, and then a safety when in punt formation the ball was snapped over the punter Armagos' head. Squib kick, trying to prevent the big run back. Jose Wilson, who has a touchdown reception, breaks it outside. Nice return, just shy of the 40-yard line. Webster chased him out of bounds. So good field position for Brian McDonald, and that only used up 8 seconds.
Well, they've got 32 seconds to go. We'll see what kind of 2-minute offense that Wichita State has. There, Jack Owens, tight end, got a good block to spring Jose Wilson for good yardage.
There is head coach Ron Chismar over on the sideline, sending in the play. Hurry-up offense with Brian McDonald. There's what Brian has done in the first half. Not a bad first half by any standard. Of course, it's been the defense of State Wichita that's had some problems. Way out to the top of your screen, I'm talking 30 yards out, is Albert Hundley. And to the near side, Brock Fewen. Fewen in motion. Prevent defense by the Bulldogs. Man is open out of the backfield, and McDonald missed him at the 17. Eric Denson. Blown coverage, David Hum.
There's a blown coverage, and I don't think that Brian McDonald will have another receiver this open. Eric Denson wide open. Gets behind the secondary with 32 seconds left in the half. That's a surprising defensive call that they don't have somebody back there. Watch Denson on the right of your screen. There's going to be no defender around him. Brian McDonald just missed him. That would have been a big play here at the end of the first half.
Well, when they go into the prevent defense, number 3, Byron Nichols, comes in as the nickelback. But Denson was wide open. Had McDonald hit him, it would have been 6. Same play that Jose Wilson scored on. 2nd and 10. They've got the screen set up to the left side. Eric Denson will get out of bounds and stop the clock at the midfield stripe. So 17 seconds remaining. Cliff Hanneman, Jr. out of Clovis, California. Back there in the coverage, and incredibly the clock continues to run. Now, all of the Shockers, look at that. Chismar says, wait a minute, we called timeout 10 seconds ago. I don't think that official is on Ron Chismar's Christmas card list. For lip readers, it was something like bull feathers. I don't understand why the clock didn't stop. He was out of bounds, and then they called a timeout. Now here's Denson.
He's fighting for positive yardage there. He gets pushed out. Well, watch the official on the left. The official, you could see him there. He was still signaling to keep the clock going.
Well, just a bad call, and Ron Chismar wants some kind of an explanation. Again, the referee is Robert Barrow. It cost them, I believe, 10 seconds. There were 17 seconds left when he stepped out of bounds, and another 2 or 3 seconds after they called timeout when they realized, incredibly, the official signaled the clock continued to run.
The Wichita State offense kind of relaxed, thinking that Denson was out of bounds, and then they recognized that the clock was still running, called timeout. We'll see if Wichita State has the Hail Mary in their offensive scheme.
Did you ever have to throw the Hail Mary pass, either at Nebraska or with the Colts or the Raiders?
No, when I was at Buffalo, I signaled it in once, though.
You had to signal it in quickly because you're probably in the middle of a blizzard. Did the play work?
No, it didn't. Fresno State basically uses the same WAG system that we used in Buffalo to send the signals in, and it's almost like a language, a sign language that they use.
They are still discussing the 10 seconds that elapsed on the clock, and Ron Chismar, quite correctably so, is very upset down on the sideline because his team was beaten out of 10 seconds. They are not going to put it back on the clock. I've never seen a coach win an argument with an official yet. Well, we talked about Pittsburgh and Penn State coming up this Saturday night with Jim Simpson and Paul McGuire. Their caravan continues on Thanksgiving night, November the 28th, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Kyle Field, College Station, Texas. One of the most time-honored rivalries in all of college football. Texas at Texas A&M, live and exclusive right here on Thanksgiving Day. It'll be the Longhorns. How many times have you heard that Hook 'em Horn song up against a stonewall defensive line of the Aggies? And their 13th man, as legend has it. I guess our cameraman Gordy was shooed out of the huddle. There's Jim Sweeney on the sideline. He has a 17-point lead and a bowl-bound team. California Bowl. It'll be his second trip there. Victorious back in 1982. He's in his 8th year as the head coach here at Fresno State. He and his wife Lucille have 8 children. He was born in Butte, Montana 56 years ago. Graduated from the University of Portland in 51. And instrumental in bringing the Bulldogs back in football and also in attendance. Well, we may have seen history tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I said I've never seen a coach win an argument. Ron Chismar, to his credit, just did. They have put 10 seconds back on the clock.
Well, I think that's great because another official must have come over and overruled that call. So they're the officials working together.
So 17 seconds left now for the Shockers, who would like to get 7. Slotted out to the right, Hewin and Hundley. Backs are split now. Dwight Eaton and Eric Denson. Denson, one to watch, loops out of the backfield. Isolated on a linebacker. McDonald wants him. Got him at the 40-yard line. First down, Wichita State.
Eric Denson, a great ball carrier. He's shown to be a great pass receiver tonight. Here they're getting down in field goal position, but Sergio Lopez Chavero, his longest is only 42 yards.
11 seconds left to go before halftime. Ron Chismar trying to work it down at least into field goal range for Sergio Lopez Chavero. Hundley comes wide to the left. Top of your screen, Brock Hewin. McDonald reads it, unloads to Hundley. Hundley hammered out of bounds at the 33-yard line. 4 seconds left. Now they wind it down to 3 seconds.
What a great job by Brian McDonald of recognizing the blitz. Also of Albert Hundley. That had to be a side adjustment where he took the 3-step drop, just threw it out. We'll see if they go for the field goal or try to throw it in the end zone. Watch Hundley. The responsibility of the wide receiver is to see the blitz also. There you can see he gets across the line, straightens his shoulders up. Good job by quarterback McDonald and Hundley right there. Side adjustment, they call it.
They're having more problems keeping time down on the field. Line of scrimmage, the 33-yard line. Hash mark near side. Sergio Lopez Chavero out of the hold of David Armagast, who is also the punter. This will be a 50-yard field goal try. Now, yesterday at practice, Lopez Chavero was kicking them from 53 and 55 yards out, but there were no red jerseys and big lumberjack arms rushing it. Snap is low, spot is good, kick is up, it's high enough, but it's not deep enough. And the half will end with a 23-6 score. Bulldogs jumped out in front, 16-0. And then it was 16-6 after. Well, let's take a look now and see if Lopez Chavero might have got bumped.
He got banged around a little bit there by Mark Olson, the linebacker, and see if Olson's blocked into him. There's Ward Kelly also. If Kelly misses him, Time of possession, 17 minutes to 12. Not that big a difference, but I think the snap that went over the head of Armagoss for a safety and the fumble inside the 5-yard line when Wichita State was driving, I think that's the difference in the score right now.
I think the Wichita State fumble is the key play of the football game, coupled with Kevin Sweeney's 49-yard pass from his own 3-yard line. Wichita State started out on the short end 7-0 after Sweeney connected for a touchdown toss. And for the Shockers, their first possession was a shock. They fumbled down at the 3-yard line. Then they were guilty of snapping the ball over Armagoss' head, and they were behind 16-0. Third possession, they punted. Second drive was a touchdown drive as Brian McDonald, a 62-yard bomb to Jose Wilson, and they closed to within 10. But then a punt and a missed 50-yard field goal by Sergio Lopez to end the first half. A sign across the way saying the Bulldogs deserve the top 20, and with an impressive win here tonight, David, they might crack into the top 20.
Well, Jim Sweeney thinks that if they play well here on national television and they get the recognition, that they'll be there.
High, deep, end-over-end kick. Returned across the 20-yard line, and the Shockers have good field position. Eric Denson across the 22. At the 23, there is head coach Ron Chismar. And Brian McDonald, not a bad first half by any stretch of the imagination. 143 yards for 62 of those on that touchdown toss to Jose Wilson.
He had a good first half, but there at the very end, in the final minute, he missed a long throw to Eric Denson that could have really made the difference in this game.
A class gentleman, the coach says, of his quarterback, number 4, Brian McDonald. Good job of reading defenses and controlling his offense. The height might be the only drawback. He's only 5'11", and that's if you put him on the stretcher. Straight ahead goes the fullback, Dwight Eaton, number 22, over the blocking of Willie Womack, the senior center out of Cocoa Beach, Florida. Keith Blunt, senior out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Velasco Smith beat Eric Denson out during the season, but here Denson's come in and had a good game for Wichita State tonight.
Velasco Smith had 191 yards against Tulsa, 7th best single game performance by any Shocker, and had 5 touchdowns coming in, leading the team. Backs are evened up. Now they're in the I-Pro set. Smith, Eaton, motion across by there goes number 26. Velasco Smith the other way. Good defensive penetration. The Bulldogs come out fired up. Watch Anthony Nunn, number 96. He recovered the fumble at the 3-yard line, top of the screen.
And watch number 90, Mike Walker, take on the block at Denson. Nunn there just pushes Velasco Smith back. Again, the strength of this Fresno State defense is their linebackers, and you saw Anthony Nunn do a great job right there.
Anthony Nunn, just a sophomore, 6'1", 230 pounds, still learning. Ewan comes wide to the left side, and the slot is Hundley. Dropping back on 3rd and 6. The ball is batted up and dropped. It is an incompleted pass. Almost a mistake. And Olsen, number 59, almost came up with an interception at the 5-yard line. We talked about the height of Brian McDonald being a problem. I think it was here.
Well, watch from the top of your screen, number 59, Mark Olsen comes up, deflects the ball straight up in the air. Watch Brian McDonald. He sees the ball and holds Olsen out. Does a pretty good job.
Remind you of Joe Theismann in the Super Bowl against the Dolphins?
Exact same situation. McDonald did a good job there of just screening Mark Olsen away from the ball.
4th and 6. Punting situation. Armagoss gets a good snap and gets a beautiful kick away. He airmails it, and there's the return. Baker, he's got a convoy. One man to beat. Stephen Baker will score. But there is a penalty flag at the 35-yard line. Now let's talk about the punt return team. Fair catch does not exist in Jim Sweeney's nomenclature.
Whenever he calls punt return team, all the members of that team start doing the ambulance siren sound. And right there you can see Stephen Baker, no thought at all of fair catching that ball. We'll see what the official's call is. Stephen Baker's had 3 returns called back, 3 touchdown returns called back this year already.
And Coach Sweeney will not allow his players to call for a fair catch, even in the end zone. They will run it out. He says there's no more exciting play in football than the punt return.
He said he'll do the same thing with their kickoff returns, that he'll bring it out no matter how deep the kick is. And right there, how would you like to have been Dave Armagoss trying to stop Stephen Baker one-on-one?
Well, this will be the 4th touchdown touchdown off the punt return, called back. Stephen Baker with a beautiful job of broken field running. But Jim Sweeney's philosophy, there is Stephen Baker, you return the ball regardless. And like David was saying, when they practice out at the Bulldog practice field and they hear sirens, he says, okay, punt return, get ready, and out they come.
He instills a lot of pride in that special teams. He was a special teams coach with the Oakland Raiders, like I said, in '78, and that's always been a strength of Jim's game, no matter where he's coached.
I think one of the strengths of Jim's game might be the camaraderie he enjoys with his players. He gets out after practice, leads them in song. Here's the call.
On the return, hold, defense wide, go offset, reach here.
Holding against Wichita State, flipping against the Bulldogs. Will do it again, and Baker will get another chance. Watch 19 Webster there. Well, I don't know.
Well, you could see Webster try to hold him up, but he did hit him from behind. He hit him in the back. Watch Armagoss one-on-one with Stephen Baker. That's a mismatch.
Maybe we could see it again. He touched him from the back. I wouldn't describe it as exactly a hit. They bumped. There was incidental contact. Stephen Baker has his track shoes on, has the jet engines roaring, and will field this one. A low snap. Armagoss needs a center fielder's glove. Line drive. Baker watches it hit. Then we'll have to get out of the way. It is blown dead at the 43. Check it at the 37-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 as Kevin Sweeney brings out the Bulldogs with their 17-point lead. Let's see what Kevin and company did in the first half. Their very first possession, they scored a 34-yard scoring strike. Sweeney is 13th. Taylor is 5th. Second drive, touchdown. James Williams, a 5-yard scamper, a missed field goal. They led 14-0. Then a punt, then an interception, not thrown, by the way, by Kevin Sweeney. And then a touchdown, another one by James Williams of 15 yards, 23-6. That was the score at halftime. A little swing pass off to James Williams. Breaks a tackle across midfield. Derek Westerfield with good pursuit. The last 9 yards, all James Williams.
Right there, that looked like a lateral from Kevin Sweeney to Williams. Williams did a good job of breaking a tackle by Jim Mann, making a good pickup.
James Williams in the first half, 12 carries, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. There's what he's done on the receiving end. Taylor, wide left. James Williams, wide into Wichita State territory, inside the 40, and a yard shy of first down yardage. It brings up 2nd down and 1. Jimmy Mann, the senior linebacker out of Wichita, Kansas, 6'4", 220, originally a defensive end. There he is. And you can see those huge lumber-like arms. I think Fresno State hasn't improved their running game this year. James Williams already this year, more than the entire team.
It sure shows in their record, 6-6 last year, 9-0-1 this year.
They've won 6 straight since tying Hawaii. Everybody's open. Sweeney goes up top for Baker. At midfield, Kevin Sweeney anticipating holding. Baker, boy, he's going to be having nightmares tonight. A touchdown called back after a punt return. Now that touchdown catch is called back.
Stephen Baker, 2 touchdowns out of 3 plays, both of them called back. He's thinking, what do I have to do?
Coach Sweeney on the sideline saying, is there anybody in there that can block without holding or clipping?
Again, great concentration by Stephen Baker. The ball was behind him and a little bit underthrown. The blur drill, Randall Cooper, was right in his face. He made a great catch.
Jim Sweeney, a very likable Irishman, reminds me of the good coach of the St. Louis Cardinals, Jim Hannafin. They tell stories the same way. They're kind of an offensive lineman's kind of football player.
Kind of the John Madden, a lot of fun to play for. He makes things happen. He loves his players.
On the offense, still 2.
Let's see it with the center, Mike Savage, number 75. You see a black glove holding a white jersey.
But the new rules on blocking is the linemen are allowed to have their hands open. Watch this catch by Stephen Baker. It's worth another look. Great concentration. Randall Cooper had no idea where that ball was.
Best 2 wide receivers I've seen this year, Stephen Baker and Charlie Lockett. Out of the shotgun, it goes to Lavelle Thomas on on 2nd and 11. Not much doing around that left side. Thomas bangs inside the 45 down at the 43-yard line. Lavelle Thomas had 4 carries, 18 yards. Longest from scrimmage, 6 yards in the first half. Number 80 is the tight end. Mark Scamray had 1 catch in that first half. And it's a 3rd and 6 situation, so Scamray might be involved in the offense. He runs the post. He's open. Flares out. Jamie Williams looks for a block against the grain. Bounces off a couple of shockers and is down at the 39. I believe he's about a half a yard shy of first down yardage, so it could be decision time for Jim Sweeney. Kirk Allen, 85. Excuse me, David, on the top.
Excuse me, Jim. Kevin Sweeney does a good job. Watch him look downfield. You can tell the defense is dropping back. Then Kevin Williams, one-on-one, cuts back. Kirk Allen does a good job of getting him off his feet.
There is Savage doing battle with the nose guard, 63, Sean Saturday. 4th and about a foot, and penalty flags are down. Looks like flag day. They've had the Rockets' red glare. They had fireworks going off earlier tonight. And while we have a moment, let's talk about a young man, Anthony Collier, who sang the national anthem. He is a member of the Bulldogs football team. He reminds you of a former teammate of yours, Otis Sistrunk.
Otis Sistrunk.
He's got that shaved head. Looks like he's from the University of Mars
Dead
Junior.
ball foul,
Illegal procedure against the Bulldogs, so it's now a punting situation. Anthony Collier sang the national anthem. He was out at practice yesterday practicing it. His teammates stood around, and everybody was just kind of enthralled with the intensity of that young man. And he's not a bad singer. Low snap. Mancini hangs it high. Gets away a beautiful kick. Fair catch is called for at the 2. Randall Cooper made a freshman mistake.
You can see Randall Cooper shake his head. Ron Chismar very upset. Inside the 10, a 42-yard kick. Cooper, he should know where the 10-yard line is. He just goes after and runs this ball down. Very big mistake.
Mancini says, okay, that's where I wanted it. There you are. You start at the 2, pal. In your face. 17-point Shocker deficit. Camera. The work cut out for the Shockers. Velasco Smith, Albert Hunley deployed wide to the left. Top of the screen is Brock Fewen. And the junior quarterback, Brian McDonald, 98 yards away from a touchdown. Play action fake, fires over the middle. Velasco Smith breaks it to the 25. The explosive speed of Velasco Smith.
What a great call by head coach Ron Chismar. Here's just a quick dive fake. Watch Velasco Smith. He loses his footing here trying to cut back in front of Rod Webster, or he could have been off to the races. Velasco
Smith, the junior tailback, held to less than 100 yards rushing for the first time since he became a starter 4 games ago in that shutout to Illinois State. Nothing doing over the left side for Dwight Eaton, number 22. Against Illinois State, the 5'7", 181-pounder out of Tallahassee, Florida, gained 38 yards on 10 carries, thus ending his bid to become the first Shocker running back to gain 100 yards in 4 straight games. He injured his wrist, the right wrist, in the first half and only saw limited action. Talking about the tailback, number 26, Velasco Smith. 2nd and 6. Backs even up now. Dwight Eaton, 22, along with the junior tailback. Goes back. McDonald incomplete, looking for number 22, Eaton out of the backfield, and he took a good lick by Mike Stewart.
I think Dwight Eaton there knew that he heard the footsteps from Mike Stewart. He took a shot even though he didn't catch the ball.
Well, it brings up 3rd and 6. Ron Chismar over on the sideline trying to salvage a season with a Shocker victory here on national television over the California bowl-bound Bulldogs of Fresno State. They have not fared well, as you saw briefly that graphic on 3rd down. Blitz is on. McDonald reads, unloads to Hundley, but incomplete. Trapped it at the 35, and that would have been close for a measurement anyway. It's the job of the wide receiver, David, to make sure he gets beyond that first down stick.
Well, right there, watch number 25, Rourke Kelly. It's a safety blitz again, a side adjustment by Brian McDonald and Hundley. Here the ball is underthrown. You can see the ball hit the ground, but a good try by Hundley.
So there is poor Dave Armagast, who's back to do the punting. He's been watching the ball sail over his head, once for a safety, scooping it off the ground. This one is again high. Baker's back deep. It's end over end, more of a line drive. They keep it away from Baker, and it goes out of bounds. They'll spot it at the 47-yard line. A 17-point Bulldog lead when we come back. Along with David Hum, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back to Fresno State. There's 3/4 of the moon over California. There is Brian McDonald, the young junior quarterback. Knows he's on television. Play action by Kevin Sweeney. Fires, got his man at the 43-yard line. Breaking a tackle. That's number 82, Mike Moffitt, the tight end. And Moffitt cracks it inside the 40-yard line. Got those last 3 on his own. And that's another Bulldog first down. They out first down Wichita State 15-8 in half number 1. Watch Terry Lafitte, 67, right side of the line, and the good pass protection. Little double team there on big number 96, Mark Duckins. Duckins is only 6'4", 280. This is Duckins' little boy Mark.
And Lafitte's only 6'1", 275.
There's the beef. .909 left to go in the third quarter. Another commercial. We'll be back after these messages. It is a little nippy at Fresno State. 53 degrees at game time. Dipping down, shovel pass. And inside the 35-yard line goes James Williams, who really feasted last week on Long Beach State. He went over the 100-yard mark for the 6th time this year. He rushed for a career-high 176 yards on a high of 30 carries, and he scored 3 touchdowns. Kevin Sweeney looking at 2nd down and 3. Out wide to the right side, Gene Taylor. He has a touchdown reception. All day to throw. Sweeney can pull it down, run for 3 and more. That's a first down, and he'll go out of bounds at the 24.5-yard line. The poise of a Kevin Sweeney. We have talked about him closing in on Doug Flutie's passing mark. You've seen Doug Flutie play. You've seen him throw. How would you compare the two?
I think Kevin Sweeney has a stronger arm. Doug Flutie, he could run around and make the big play. Sweeney is more of a pocket-type, pro-style passer. He's not a guy that's going to run it upfield. He's going to hook slide or get out of bounds. But he's your prototype pocket passer.
He's the pure drop-back passer, a diligent student of the game, both in the film room and in the weight room. It's becoming fashionable for the quarterbacks to bulk up. Jamie Williams is bulking up his stats on Wichita State as he hammers it down to the 15. When we were with Long Beach State, Doug Gaynor bench presses over 400 pounds. Kevin Sweeney, very diligent in the weight room. How were you in the weight room when you were quarterback?
The lineman wouldn't let us in. Little different philosophy nowadays. When we talked to Kevin Sweeney, we said, what is the deal with quarterbacks in the weight rooms? And he says, now it's survival of the fittest.
2nd down, a short one, almost a free play from the shotgun. Sweeney goes airborne, looks sideline, dumps it off to Lavelle Thomas. Lavelle Thomas, 1st and goal at the 5. Loose football. State gets it back as in Wichita, but did the whistle blow? I believe we'll have a bit of a conclave. They'll say he was upended at the 5. It is 1st and goal for the Bulldogs.
Again, Kevin Sweeney looking downfield, comes to Lavelle Thomas. Watch Kirk Allen. He breaks a tackle here, spinning. We'll see if he fumbles the ball. It's hard to tell from that angle.
The ground, of course, cannot cause a fumble. Let's see if the end of the play, if it was the ground that caused the fumble. Apparently a gremlin got into the tape machine. 1st and goal from the 5. I-pro set. The tailback is James Williams, number 29. Williams cracks it down to the 2-yard line. Blocking around that right side by Terry Lafitte, Greg Lovering. and Derek Westerfield came up to make the stop. Appears to be limping just a bit. James Williams out of Brunswick High School in Georgia. Taft Junior College. Very highly recruited. Had a great sophomore season. 4.5 speed. He would become only the second FSU rusher ever to gain over 1,000 yards. Larry Willoughby at 1,092. Loose football, but number 37 Mosley was down. Wichita State's defense fired up on this drive. What happened here, David?
They're in the T formation. You can see where James Williams, it looks like he goes the wrong way and causes the other two backs to just run into him. And that looks like a fumble right there.
But they say that he was down before the fumble. So the ball is backed up at the 19-yard line. And instead of 3rd and goal from the 5, it's 3rd and goal from the 19. Kind of an interesting goal line formation. Looked like Woody Hayes in the old Ohio State wing or full house backfield. Kevin down at the 25. Good penetration. Number 48 came cracking through. Mike Argabright. Argabright came up with the interception. Now Sweeney did not throw the interception. That interception was thrown by Wesson.
Well, Argabright made a great play on the interception. Here Sweeney never even sees him. Argabright almost forced a fumble right there by Kevin Sweeney.
So we will see Barry Belli, who's been very busy as far as extra points are concerned. Mike Mancini is ordinarily the holder, but this is Brian Carden, number 15. This will be a 32, make it a 42-yard try. It's on its way. It's airmailed, and it is good. So a 42-yard field goal ups the Bulldog lead to 20 points. Back with the Bulldogs kickoff after this. Below us on the near side for this kickoff by Belli. Barry Belli, the outstanding place kicker for Fresno State. One of the things that concerned Jim Sweeney was the kickoff coverage, but he said sometimes when your coverage breaks down, it's because of a great kicker. Eric Denson, 3 yards deep in the end zone, elects not to bring it out. The scoring drive of the Bulldogs to amass that 20-point lead. It took 5 rushes, 4 passes, and they only went 27 yards in a little over 4 minutes, and that 42-yard field goal. But if there's cause for concern, they had it 1st and goal at the 5, and they had to settle for a 42-yard field goal.
Well, confusion in their short yardage offense, and they forced them back to the 19-yard line. Just a field goal out of it, but they're still pretty much in command at 26-6.
Brian McDonald bends in, 1st and 10 from his own 20-yard line. Takes that deep 7-step drop 10 run. Chased out of the pocket. Penalty flag is down. Loose football at the 30-yard line. The Bulldogs of Fresno State, number 99, looks like he came up with a loose football. Chris Pacheco, Hanneman caused the fumble. A penalty flag in the backfield holding will be declined, and the Bulldogs get a big break.
Holding on the offense.
You know, while we have a second, we were talking about Belli, the place kicker, number 27, over on the sideline. Well, let's pick up the fumble. Watch Hanneman, 77, and Pacheco, 99.
Watch 92, Anthony Collier.
Right there, 77. Hanneman strips him of the ball. It bounds loose, and then good penetration. Here comes 99, Pacheco in the middle of the pile. 1st and 10. Here comes Kevin Sweeney. Deep drop. Airs it out. Fires near sideline. Got his man at the 11. 1st down, Fresno State. That is Stephen Baker, who says, all right, give me one now with no penalty flags. The touchdown maker, Stephen Baker.
Wichita State has to respect the deep threat of Stephen Baker. Here he comes back and makes a good catch of a low-thrown ball.
Baker, 26 receptions, averaging 29 yards per catch. Not much doing on 1st and 10 from the 12. James Williams again, and another penalty flag is down. It has been a busy evening for the men in the striped shirts. personal foul against the Shockers. And this, David, could simply get to be frustration now. You're trailing by 20 points. Kevin Sweeney throwing at will. James Williams running at will. You're 3-7, and you've got a long flight home.
Very long flight. They came in here. They could have saved their season with a win or even a good game here. Now Fresno State's in position to score again, and another score would pretty well put it out of hand.
I have a dead ball foul. Personal foul. Automatic first down.
Well, they had it first and goal at the 5 a few plays ago and settled for a 42-yard field goal. First and 5 again. Taylor wide to the right. He's got a touchdown toss. Backs are split. Lavelle Thomas and Williams. Williams on the counter. Hammers to the 2.5-yard line. It's second down from that spot. Anytime Vince Wesson, number 22, the flanker, comes into the game, we anticipate some kind of trick play. He's kind of the key. And off the razzle-dazzle, he's the man to look for. But basically, except for the one time Wesson, the running back, threw back to the quarterback, and that was intercepted, Jim Sweeney's played it fairly straight.
Well, he said this year, especially out of his kicking game, that he's knocked all the fakes off.
Full house backfield, quick count. Anthony Mosley, touchdown, Bulldogs again. For Anthony Mosley, that is his 6th rushing touchdown of the year. Blocking around that left side. Watch Savage, 75. He's the center. Chulansov, 78, is the left guard. And the left tackle is David Lerma, 63. End zone, watch the power blocking left side.
Watch Lavelle Thomas. He gets a great block. Anthony Mosley just launches himself over that, lands right on his head.
Now, as we watch Barry Belli come back out, I can get back to the story of the place kickers. Jim Sweeney has always excelled in working with place kickers. One of his first ones, way back in '67, Jan Stenerud, who's still kicking, and Sweeney is Jan Stenerud's godfather. Belli bangs it through. There is Jim Sweeney, the godfather to Jan Stenerud. Watch the backfield in the surge here of Lavelle Thomas.
And Kelly Skipper also. There, Anthony Mosley just dives over the top.
Mosley cleared. Watch him come at you, and he clears air traffic control. Flaps are down. It's not where you want to land. Anthony, he will learn. He is a junior, but you don't want to land on the helmet. 33-6, a 27-point Shocker deficit, and this is going to be a long 19 minutes for Wichita State.
We'll see if they open their offense up.
Coming up live on Saturday night, number 1, the Nittany Lions of Joe Paterno and Penn State up against the Pitt Panthers, 7:30 Eastern Time. Jim Simpson and Paul McGuire will bring you that game, the number 1 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Which bowl game do you think they'll go to?
I think Joe Paterno would like, he wants to play the highest ranked team in the country, and right now that would be the Orange Bowl.
Hasn't fared too poorly in New Orleans on New Year's night, New Year's Eve. Beat Vince Dooley's Bulldogs of Georgia a couple years ago. Of course, our ESPN spies say perhaps the Orange Bowl. Remember last year's Orange Bowl, the covered wagon against Oklahoma? High, end-over-end kick. Fielded by Eric Denson. Crosses the 15. And gets hammered steadily backwards at about the 22. Loose football. Bulldogs come up with it, and it was stolen right away from Dennison. Inbounds, one of the Bulldogs took the ball right out of his arms, and I believe it was 23, Bryce Malavasi. Here comes Denson. Now watch 23, Malavasi. There's the ball loose. The hit was made by 28. And there's Malavasi. This is Ray Malavasi's son, by the way.
Bryce Malavasi recovers. Greg Williamson makes the hit. The ball just comes underneath. Malavasi's going to see it. Do a good job of getting under the pile and getting the ball.
Jim Sweeney told us of Bryce Malavasi. He is a complete competitor, just as you would expect him to be with a father like Ray as a coach. Needs to work on the weights, though. Sweep around the left side. Doug Platts, 87, the backup reserve linebacker, bringing down James Williams, number 29. They're going for that record. because the 6 100-yard games, a new single-season record for James Williams and a career FSU mark with his touchdown rushing this year. He's chasing Larry Willoughby, who set the club record back in '52, and Williams has 99. They reverse. Baker drops the ball. Referee gets in the way. Baker goes the other way. At the 21-yard line, Baker has been involved in some very strange plays tonight. A punt return called back because of penalty. A touchdown toss and reception called back because of holding. And now a reverse that didn't.
Williams, they look too close. You can see they bump shoulders right there. The ball's on the ground. Darrell Whiteley does a good job of staying home. Baker faked himself out there.
He just looks explosively quick. Wide to the left side goes Baker. Taylor near side. Wichita State might have jumped offside. Williams on the receiving end. Down to 12. Fresno State just putting this game away. That offensive line, the best since Jim Sweeney has been here, and that's 8 years, just hammering away now at the Shockers. Worried this man was whether this game would be anticlimactic after clinching the PCAA crown against Long Beach. As David said, passed out the 90 mirrors just before the start of the game. Told the team, don't go out and wait for someone else to do it. It's up to you. Fourth and inches. Williams gets the first down at the 10. Jim Sweeney was very honest yesterday at practice. He said honestly at Wichita State, offensively they don't throw the ball well enough to complement their running game. And he didn't think that the defense had the athletes and that those athletes had the sophistication to compete with his club for 60 minutes.
Wichita State's in a rebuilding program. Fresno State, they're right about on schedule, and Jim Sweeney's really proud of this team. The whole valley here, all the people in Fresno State, you can tell by the support we're on locally right now, and there's still a great crowd out here to watch this game.
Play action fake on the post, incomplete, almost intercepted. Looking for Baker on the post, and watch how hard this ball is thrown by Kevin Sweeney. You look from the end zone.
Kevin Sweeney throwing to his left, puts it right on a line. It's tipped right there. And
Eric Westfield.
Westfield got a hand on it. That could have caused Stephen Baker to lose his concentration.
Also caused the ball to go away from Baker. Who was the best wide receiver you ever threw to in running the post pass?
I'll tell you, Jerry Butler for the Buffalo Bills. Jerry, this kid had a stride on him and great speed.
James Williams out of the backfield, inside the 10, keeps the knees turning, and is down at the 5.5-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and about 5. They can get a first down, the Bulldogs can. Who was the worst wide receiver you ever threw to at running the post?
I didn't get to throw to a lot, so I really didn't throw it to the best or the worst.
Williams had a big game, limps off. Into the backfield, Vince Wesson, 22. Taylor, the wide receiver, slotted out to the right. Let's watch Wesson. He's the trick play man. He's in motion. Here comes Sweeney. Sweeney will try to carry it in himself and does. Kevin Sweeney takes it in from 5.5 yards out. That is his 4th touchdown on the ground, and it comes with 49 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. I'm not sure you want your quarterback running the option when you've got the California Bowl ahead of you. Harden will hold. Belli, who's been busy and has been perfect, will try to make it 40-6. He does. Watch Wesson come in motion now, and then here comes Sweeney right at you.
Sweeney knows he gets outside of Don Weatherby there, but believe me, he's going to protect himself because he knows how big this game in California Bowl is. Watch LaBelle Thomas out in front, gets a good block on Weatherby. Let's Kevin Sweeney get outside, but believe me, Kevin knows where all those Wichita State defenders are.
lineman thanking the offensive lineman. There is Savage. Does Savage remind you of Mike Webster? I know that we use the analogy of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Jim Sweeney said of his offensive line, they're like the Steelers. They trap block so well.
You're constantly seeing the Fresno State offensive lineman pull and trap, and he keeps a smaller group of linemen. They really don't have the big pass protection linemen that the Oakland or LA Raiders have, and he wants linemen that can move and run.
Belli will boom it away from the 40-yard line. 40 points on the scoreboard. And Ron Chismar was quite honest with us yesterday. He said if we don't keep it close early, they will break the scoreboard. There's still the fourth quarter to go. They might. Belli booms a beauty. It's deep. It's end over end. Denson had the last one stripped loose. Chased out of bounds across the 20-yard line. It'll be up near the 24, and that's where the Shockers, who are being shocked, will start. ESPN, the home of the best college basketball on television, delivers live coverage from one of the premier preseason tournaments, the Great Alaska Shootout. It all starts Friday, November 29th, with a super doubleheader. ACC powerhouse North Carolina, the Tar Heels of Dean Smith, and the Big 8's Missouri Tigers tip off the action in Game 1. Then defending NCAA champion Villanova, the Wildcats of Rollie Massimino take on the Runnin' Rebels from UNLV, and the Shark, Jerry Tarkanian. First and 10. Little dancing inside by Velasco Smith. Interesting call. Trailing by 34 points to run the ball with just 39 seconds left in the first half. There's Kevin Sweeney.
That guy's running outside.
One of 8 children born to Jim and Lucille Sweeney. One of his brothers played for Paul Bear Bryant at Alabama.
He's playing hard.
Coming out wide to the left comes Albert Hunley, the senior from Denver. Brock Buin out of Heston, Kansas, a junior. Over on the right side, the backs are evened up. Smith and Jose Wilson. Smith explodes around that right side, and he gets a Wichita State first down. There is the man referred to by his coach as a sawed-off runt. Has great moves, great acceleration, good lateral movement, and good hands. He just needs a few horses in front of him. Hundley wide left. Buin top of the screen. High pro set. Jose Wilson and Velasco Smith now they even up. Ryan McDonald would like to throw deep. Pretty good job of coverage though by the Bulldogs. Full trap over the right side. And that is number 25, Jose Wilson, who has a touchdown reception of 62 yards. And he bangs his way up across the 45 near the 47-yard mark.
Nice job by the offensive line. Watch Mike Womack, Keith Blunt. Velasco Smith runs out of a tackle there. Mark Olson does a good job of bringing him down, but there at 5'7", 181, he shows you a lot of strength.
Time has expired in the third quarter. Still 15 to go, and it's a long way for Wichita.
Hamburger places are...
Last night. Now, come on. The Chamber of Commerce is going. You can write David Hum in Las Vegas, Nevada.
California people aren't used to the cold that
What's
much.
that saloon you hang out in? Caesars?
It's not bad.
You're like Aunt Margaret. It's not bad. Line of scrimmage, the 46. First snap, fourth quarter, 15 minutes mercifully to go if you're a Shocker fan because they have been shocked. They used to be called the Wheat Shockers. That was back in the day of the Model T. There's Mr. Bulldog, a happy fellow. Third quarter stats overwhelmingly in favor of Fresno State.
Total yards 426 to 231.
How about Bowling Green if you're watching?
Do you think they're watching?
I hope so. Just 20 miles down the road from my alma mater. In fact, Wichita State played University of Toledo, coached by Danny Simmel. I went to the same high school together. Brian McDonald falls down at the 39-yard line.
At the 38-yard line.
Wichita State lost to Toledo, 22-17. One of 7 losses for that man, Ron Chismar, in his second season. Well, head coach Jim Sweeney says of his 36 years in college football, there's an analogy for every situation. We'll use each one in the next 13 minutes. How many 3rd and 18 plays do you think the Shockers have? McDonald says help. He gets it. Surprised there was no flag there?
A little bit, I tell you. Right there, Byron Nichols was all over Hundley.
Nichols was all over Albert Hundley, the senior wide receiver. Now, he has cleared the zone. There's a little holding, a little bumping, and here's a little more. Whoops. Cuts it upfield. Watch the right arm. A little push, a little bump, a little over the shoulder, and no flag. Back deep is Stephen Baker. He's only had 2 touchdowns called back because of penalty. They will punt the ball line drive. Airmails, Baker. No fair catch. It doesn't exist. They try to set up the wall. Oh, what a great block. An ankle tackle at the 30. Otherwise, it would have been a foot race. But a tremendous block by number 28, Greg Williamson. We'll see if we can pick up the block. Williamson, 5'11", a junior out of Long Beach. Should come from the left side of the screen. Right there.
Stephen Baker, great speed. You can just hear those guys with the ambulance siren.
So the Bulldogs get the ball back. They only lead by 34.
If Madame Butterfly would have had an 86 Colt 4-door sedan with optional turbo power, Lieutenant Pinkerton would never have gotten away. Colt, imported for Dodge and Plymouth, built by Mitsubishi in Japan. Colt, it's all the Japanese you need to know.
Hamburger places think they can become chicken experts overnight. And even though they may make chicken nuggets, it's not that easy to get chicken right.
At Kentucky Fried Chicken, our nuggets have our secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, so they taste great. In fact, people who said they've ever tried Kentucky Nuggets and McDonald's chicken nuggets rated ours higher on taste.
So try the nuggets from the chicken experts. Anyone else could be just winging it.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
College football 85 on ESPN Thursday night is brought to you by Colt, imported for Dodge and Plymouth, built by Mitsubishi in Japan. By Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right. And by Dickies, they're America's favorite work clothes. Who says you have to work in them?
Kevin Sweeney is your bread and butter. I can't believe that he's still in the game.
James Williams, the bread and butter runner, and wide receiver, is also still in. 40-6 is the score. James Williams convoys left, cuts it back against the grain. Loose football at the 40-yard line, but the Bulldogs recovered. Except for the one interception, they have played just about error-free football. It's been a very enthusiastic crowd. Maybe that's why. 1,005 yards for James Williams. Not much enthusiasm on the Wichita State sideline, and it's been that kind of a season. A rebuilding season for Ron Chismar. He's been assistant at Michigan State, Darrell Rogers. Loose football right into the arms of a red jersey, and one of the offensive hogs picks it up, making like the refrigerator up near the 50-yard line. That is the left guard, Mike Chulansip, out of Fresno. How'd you like to have a 250-pound ball carrier? Now watch the fumble here by Williams. Loses the ball. There's Chulansip. What do you think of his form? He got a future?
Hey, we just might have discovered a new refrigerator right there. Good power. He runs with his head up. Not a real great open field runner, though.
Didn't really shift the ball from his left hand to his right. Here comes some razzle-dazzle. Unbelievable. They missed the... Julius Pitts First down at the 14. He ran right through 3 Wichita State players right in front of Ron Chismar, who wanted to go out and make the tackle himself. At midfield, there were no blockers out there. Pitts just turned on the afterburners.
Well, watch the exchange here. Pitts will get the ball. Kevin Sweeney will get out in front, and it looks like the Wichita State players are so intent. Watch the bottom of your screen. Right there, you can see Stonebreaker just intent on hitting Kevin Sweeney. Doesn't even go after Pitts.
And finally, number 41, Ken Stonebreaker, bumps him out of bounds at the 14. 11:39 left to go in this football game. Wide to the left goes Pitts. Top of the screen, Vince Wesson. Straight ahead. Blocking for Anthony Mosley, number 37, the junior. One of 8 children, Mosley is. Selma High School. He's a member of the honor roll, also Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Very adept at short yardage, and as the coach has said, a great addition to the kicking game. There's Kevin Sweeney, a good look into the huddle. You can see the breadth of the players. It's about 40 degrees now. It was 53 at kickoff time. 11 minutes left to go in the season for Wichita State. Straight ahead, number 37, Anthony Mosley again. He is a very powerful runner.
He's their short yardage specialist. They're 2nd and 5. He just takes it up the middle. Good fire out by Savage, Chalancif, and Lafitte right there. The offensive line for Fresno State, I think, has this Wichita State defense worn down. They basically can do what they want right now.
Well, the book on Mosley, too, David, is that he is good going down low or over the top. We saw his last touchdown when he cleared air traffic control, came down, landed on his neck. From 4 yards out, we see the Ohio State full house backfield. Sweeney has rushed for one. Will pull it down and try to make it a deuce. Out of bounds at the 3. Kind of a late developing play, and the kind of play you would expect to go to the wide side. Did you ever bootleg it in at Nebraska?
From 1 yard out and in.
Top yardage.
I didn't run a lot. Whenever I ran the option, I had a tendency to do the pitch.
Let's see if Mosley will put the flaps down. He does, but need a de-icer.
Mosley gets hit before he can even take off right here. Reverse pivot by Kevin Sweeney. Watch Mosley try to get up. He's hit right there. Great job. Derek Westfield. Here Lavelle Thomas leads.
Doug Maxwell, the nose guard, 56, stood him right up. And you know what they say about playing nose guard. That's like being a fire hydrant at a dog convention. Penalty flags are down. It was 3rd and 2. Dead ball foul. 3rd and 7. Well, how about the post pattern? We have been told Kevin Sweeney throws it as well as anybody. We've seen him try one. It was deflected.
Another good pattern down here is the fade pattern. And the way Stephen Baker can jump and Gene Taylor also, it's not a bad pattern to throw.
How about the tight end? Moffitt has caught one. Scamray has caught a couple. Vince Wesson, the trick play man, number 22, is in. Usually something unusual will happen when Vince is on the field. He's deployed wide to the top of the screen. Slotted out in between is Julius Pitts.
See if they roll right here and try a little pick play to the right.
Here comes in motion Wesson. There goes Sweeney. This is the one he bootlegged it on. Open man. Wesson, touchdown. Good call by the former Nebraska, Oakland Raider, and Baltimore Colt quarterback. A little pick. And wide open. That was Vince Wesson. Wesson and the receiving this year. That is his 2nd touchdown.
Vince Wesson wide open. He comes up in motion, gets behind Julius Pitts. Julius does a good job of screening out the secondary. We can't really see it from this angle, but you can see Vince Wesson wide open in for an easy touchdown.
A 7-yard scoring strike, and there is Kevin Sweeney, who has thrown for a couple. He's run for one, and out of the hold of Brian Carden. Or now it's Mike Mancini is the new holder. Mike Mancini is the new kicker. We'll get it straightened out. Carden is the holder. Carden and Mancini are out there. One of them will kick it. taken Belli and probably put the warmer on his leg until the California Bowl. Harden will kick, and Mancini will hold. They're versatile. There's Vince Wesson, who just scored. It's a little airtime.
James Williams there on the right.
They are headed to the California Bowl, and there's Kevin Sweeney, and his face is like the scoreboard, all lit up. I'm not sure if he didn't do a little salesmanship job on you yesterday. I said, Kevin, this game is a huge mismatch. He said, wait a minute, have you seen them on film? They look like the Chicago Bears.
I used that line in our game opener, too.
They play like the Teddy Bears. A 40-point lead for the boys in red. And they'll go up against the Bobcats of Bowling. They're not the Bobcats. What are they? Bobcats are Ohio University. Bowling Green Falcons. Sometime before our producer John Wildhack's plane leaves for Pittsburgh to produce that Penn State pitch game for you on Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern Time, they will attempt the extra point. Carton out of Mancini's hole. High over the uprights, and it is good. 47-6. Not much more to say. They are bowl bound, they are unbeaten, and they are tough. Back with the points scored. Most first downs, most rushing first downs. And of course, for their players, Barry Belli, 8th in the nation overall in scoring, 2nd leading kick scorer. Ron Webster, 9th in interception. Stephen Baker, 3rd in punt returns. The Bulldogs 2nd in scoring, 5th in total offense. A 41-point deficit. Nice kickoff return, loose football. The Shockers get it back. You know, David, really the story of this football game, aside from the awesome offensive show of the Bulldogs, and there is Kevin Sweeney. That is a rather impressive evening. He's only missed on 5 passes. He's thrown for 1, thrown for 2. He's rushed for 1, and
Hi, Mama.
Hey, a little better than Doug Flutie. What do you think?
How you doing?
Well, it's going to be interesting next year. With this balanced running attack, though, he's not going to be in a position to be throwing the ball all the time.
With the Kevin Sweeney, with the weapons that Jim Sweeney has, could Fresno State play in the Pac-10?
No, I think they could play well against the UCLA, Washington State, but to play them week in and week out, I'm not sure that they have the depth to really compete in the conference, but I think playing against a couple of the Pac-10 teams during the year, they could do well.
Hanneman on the tackle, and it was Velasco Smith, the ball carrier. This game obviously out of reach with 9.5 to go and a 41-point Wichita State deficit.
Fresno State has the specialists with Stephen Baker, Julius Pitts, Vince Wesson, James Williams. Those are people that could keep them in a lot of games, and I think they could compete.
2nd down, 5 yards to go from the 32 of the Shockers. Trap blocking, loose football again, and it is recovered by, you guessed it, the Bulldogs. I started to say the real story of this game, the offensive explosion of Fresno State, but also the way the ball is bounced for Wichita State. It was 7-0 after Fresno State's first possession. But the Bulldogs did get it back and could have tied it up 7-7. They fumbled the ball away at the 3-yard line, and from that moment, they've never been in this football game. A brand new quarterback coming in now. Kevin Sweeney, we can close the book. Mike DeFabio, 7 out of 11, 43 yards, 1 interception. That's for the season. So he will get on track, and he starts with great field position at the 35 of Wichita State. Little dive play. It goes to Kelly Skipper, number 26. Check number 81, Stephen Baker. How did he do tonight? 3 receptions, 91 yards, 1 touchdown pass, another touchdown pass that was called back because of penalty, and a punt return called back because of penalty. The touchdown maker, Stephen Baker, was going to play in the Senior Bowl but was injured. 31 touchdowns in just 2 years of junior college. There goes number 39, Derek Allen, around the right side.
Mike DeFabio came here he was a junior college transfer they had trouble recruiting quarterbacks to play behind Kevin Sweeney. DeFabio said, I wanted to learn the passing game. He came here, he's a junior, and he's really fit into this. He's a team player.
Gee, I don't know why you'd have trouble recruiting quarterbacks. First, you've got a natural quarterback like Kevin Sweeney with a great gun, all sorts of weapons to work with, and then the quarterback's the coach's son.
You know, Kevin Sweeney, he's tried to get away from the coach's son image. He wants to earn this on his own, and I think he really has. He's shown people that he's not only the coach's son, but that he's earned it on his own merit.
Well, there's no question about that. I mean, you look at his statistics in high school when he broke Pat Hayden's record for touching touchdown passes. A player for all reasons, his dad said. When he was back in the 8th grade, Jim was telling me he worked him out. They lived in St. Louis when he was an assistant coach of the Cardinals. Their driveway had about a 3 to 4 to 5% grade. He worked Kevin out backpedaling uphill against the grade to help teach him and gain him strength. Sweep to the left side. Some new jerseys coming in for the Bulldogs now. That is Lavelle Tatum. While we're talking about head coach Jim Sweeney, we mentioned earlier that one of his sons played at Alabama for Coach Paul Bear Bryant. We will pick up on that story when we come back. 8:09 left to go. It's been all Bulldogs.
Every morning, more working men and women put on Dickies work clothes than any other work set in America. There's one good reason. Dickies fabric just plain outwears and outwashes every other brand. When you want hard-working performance, what you need is horsepower. Dickies work clothes, made with Celanese Fortrell polyester.
Movies, the dance recital, and I'm the star. Oh, no problem, ladies. Watch this.
No one has rougher terrain than Japan. That's why they need rugged four-wheel drive.
Where's my star? My butterfly!
And that's why they build the 86 Colt Vista. Imported for Dodge and Plymouth.
They're here!
Built by Mitsubishi in Japan. Colt. It's all the Japanese you need to know.
Hard to imagine it was 7-0, then could have been 7-all had they not fumbled the ball, the Shockers, at their own 3-yard line. 14-0, 16-0 after the safety, 16-6, and that was as close as Wichita State would come, trailing by 10 and then 17 at halftime. They have failed to score here in the second half, and we've got 8 minutes left to go. There's James Williams, and what a great night, a great season he's had.
Tremendous season, 22 rushes, 136 yards. Big night, receiving 9 receptions for 72 yards. He's not very excited, though.
No, they had a big night. Jimmy Sweeney used this game, national television on ESPN, to try to prevent any kind of a letdown, plus the 90 mirrors that he handled out and said, look inside yourselves and don't wait for somebody else to do it. But he said, we've got a great opportunity to sell the Fresno State program here nationally with a wide-open offense. It's no longer wide receiver university.
Not only to sell the Fresno State program, but also the Fresno area, that this is a fast-growing town and people are proud of their program.
David Cruz, the new quarterback for Wichita State, getting some action now. Closing the book on Brian McDonald, who threw a 62-yard touchdown toss to Jose Wilson. That accounted for the only Shocker score. Line of scrimmage, the 43-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for Cruz. Time winding inside of 7 minutes. Mercifully. Lots of new jerseys. They might have taken too much time, Wichita State did. We started to talk about Jim Sweeney, the head coach, in his 8th year, and the fact that one of his sons played for Paul Bear Bryant. I asked him after the practice the other day who was most influential in his coaching career. He didn't hesitate at all, David, when he said Paul Bear Bryant. Jim Sweeney used to borrow money to go down to Alabama, watch some of the clinics that Paul Bear Bryant would put on. They became very close. It was kind of a kinship. Bear Bryant came out to Fresno State in the last 6 months of his life. And as Jim Sweeney very emotionally pointed out, the Bear could have gone anywhere at all he wanted to speak, didn't have to speak. Came out here because of their kinship and spoke. And then Jim got very emotional. Tears filled his eyes thinking of his friend Paul Bear Bryant.
Football such an important part of Jim Sweeney's life. He was even talking about players that play for him and penalties that, you know, he doesn't want his players with the late hits and everything because they'll go out when they're done if they coach and coach them.
A dive play over the left side, and Velasco Smith gets rocked backwards. This is a tremendous hit. Watch ground level as the junior tailback out of Tallahassee gets banged backwards.
Watch Smith here. Tries to go over the pile, takes a tremendous hit by Anthony Nunn.
And Anthony Collier, the young man with the shaved head who sang the national anthem. We can take Anthony's helmet off. It'll look like the picture our director Ralph Molay took a little while ago of Old Man Moon. 2nd and 14. Cruz airmails into traffic, incomplete at midfield. Well, getting back to Coach Jim Sweeney for a second, another motivation for his players here on national television, a big win. They certainly have that, a 41-point lead, and there are a lot of pollsters who vote in both the AP and UPI vote watching in tonight on ESPN. He said a lot of his close companions, people that he travels with throughout the summer, and he was hoping that a big win here might influence some voters and his team might crack into the top 20. It is 3rd and 14 for David Cruz. Blitz is on. Cruz out of the pocket. Tall, rangy quarterback. Right-handed thrower. Looks, fires. Incomplete. Looking for the tight end. Coverage downfield was good. And a late hit over on the sideline. Anthony Nunn running into the Shocker bench along with Chris Pacheco. Never want to get into a confab over on the other guy's bench.
Rule number 1.
Your team didn't matter, the Raiders.
They'll fight on either bench.
They fight in the locker room among themselves.
No, I'll tell you, that's a close team. A lot of camaraderie on that team. A lot of fun to play, though, when you win.
A lot of Super Bowls. A punting situation for Dave Armagost. It could be Wichita State's MVP before this one is through. Penalty flag is down at the 31-yard line with 5:37 left to go. Julius Pitts on the receiving end. A 31-yard punt. And obviously, Pitts was not given enough room to make the fair catch. Signaled for it. Came down with it in heavy traffic.
Number 40, Derek Westfield. You've got to give him 5 yards there.
(47-6) certainly embellishes what Jim Sweeney said about his Bulldog team at practice the other day. He said this is the best depth of any team I've ever had. A long night for the Shockers.
Hamburger places serve billions of burgers, and oh yes, they also serve chicken, like chicken nuggets. But it's hard to do chicken right. Part-time. At Kentucky Fried Chicken, our nuggets have our secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, so they taste great. In fact, people who said they'd never tried Kentucky Nuggets and McDonald's chicken nuggets rated ours higher on taste. So get your nuggets from the chicken experts. Anything else could be a bum steer.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Mazda, Honda, Toyota. Choosing the right import can be a nightmare.
Colt.
Colt? But the 86 Colt is a dream. Easy to buy, and with all the quality and features you expect in Japanese cars. Colt is important for Dodge and Plymouth, built by Mitsubishi in Japan. Colt, it's all the Japanese you need to know.
Herb, do you feel a draft?
Along with David Helm, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back to Fresno State. The Bulldogs big, 47-6 over Wichita State. 5:37 left to go. We've got all sorts of reserves in there now. The backup quarterback has replaced Kevin Sweeney. This is Mike DeFabio. And watching and enjoying this game here at Fresno State, over 30,000 plus. We had talked about Jim Sweeney and the job he has done rebuilding the Bulldog football program, but also there's been a resurgence here at Fresno State in attendance. The alumni gobble up the tickets, and it's tough for the students to get in. Tatum tries the right side. You know, talking about Jim Sweeney, we mentioned that Bear Bryant was perhaps the most influential man in his coaching career. Jim Sweeney is one of the 10 dinosaurs who's been around a long time. Bo Schembechler and a few others, huh?
He takes a lot of pride in that, too. And, you know, the Bear Bryant, he's been in coaching for 36 years. He's got a philosophy that basically we do everything for personal profitability. You get a player, he motivates his players to play well because it motivates him to play well for his parents. It makes his girlfriend like him more. It makes him more popular on the campus. And he's got some interesting philosophies.
Well, picking up on that personal profitability, the girlfriend will watch or maybe give him an extra kiss. The parents will be pleased. You make all league or maybe NFL, but it's all tied together, and it all comes back in Coach Sweeney's mind to what the players owe the program. And he opened a check from a former All-American from Fresno State who went on to play for the Los Angeles Rams, Henry Ellert, who every year sends back a check for $4,000 to contribute to the Bulldogs football program. So it is personal profitability, but then it all comes back to this full circle. Mancini hit a cannon. Looked like Dave Hum's old teammate Ray Guy. Back deep, Randall Cooper, and the freshman runs it out of bounds. We've got 4:06 left to go. A 47-6 football game. Live, the California Bowl. We mentioned the Falcons of Bowling Green up against Fresno State. That's upcoming here on ESPN, Saturday, December 14th, 4 o'clock Eastern time. So join us here on ESPN. That will be a great game because you'll have 2 of the 3 teams undefeated in the United States battling it out in that bowl game. The third team is Penn State. You'll see Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions this Saturday night. Jim Simpson and Paul McGuire, 7:30 Eastern time, kick it off. The top-ranked Nittany Lions up against the Pitt Panthers. Hunley, Gilbert of a wide receiver, not much doing. Line of scrimmage was the 16-yard line, and that's exactly where Freddie Gaines runs the ball back to. Well, the ESPN Top 20 swing into action again this weekend. Let's see how some of those matchups go. David? Penn State at Pitt. We talked about that. The Cornhuskers and the Sooners. Who do you like there?
Well, I like Nebraska, and I really can't explain why, but it's going to be a big game, and I think the winner of the Nebraska-Oklahoma game will play Penn State in the Orange Bowl for the national championship.
Hopefully Barry Switzer will keep that covered wagon off the field. 2nd and 11. We'll go back to those matchups after this play. Cruz unloads, gets his man at the 18-yard line. Freddie Gaines shy of first down yardage. How about the Bruins of UCLA? They'll be in action against the Trojans of USC.
USC's had problems. Terry Donahue, they've been strong. Still, this is a game that USC, they could save Ted Tollner's job.
Rose Bowl bid, perhaps at stake there. Falcons of Air Force, they're in action. The air will be filled with pigskins. You saw the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. 3rd and 9 facing David Cruz. Gilbert, 34, top of the screen. Near side comes Albert Hunley. Backs are even up down. Freddie Gaines and Jose Wilson. I like Jose Wilson. Thought maybe we'd see a little more of him. There goes Jose. Okay, Jose across the 30 for a first down for State. Let's go back to those top 20. Florida, their idol. BYU with Robbie Bosco. How do you like him as a quarterback?
I like him a lot. He really hasn't thrown deep a lot. They're a control-type ball control offense, but I do like Bosco. Texas A&M at TCU. TCU's had their problems.
Georgia idol after being beaten up. Arkansas. And Bowling Green.
ESPN has Bowling Green number 20. Fresno State number 23. Be interesting.
First down after Jose Wilson clears the left side. He's got good speed, good power, good hands. Moves it up near the 38-yard line. There is head coach Jim Sweeney, 36 years in coaching. Took over in Butte, Montana, which is where he went to high school. Graduate of Central High back in '51. In 2 of his 3 years as coach there, his team won 2 state titles. He went on to Montana State. 4 out of the 5 years there, he won the Big Sky Conference. Washington State won Coach of the Year honors, coached the East-West Shrine Game. Very much in demand as an after-dinner and a motivational speaker. He really had to be here at practice yesterday to enjoy Jim Sweeney, watching him sing songs with his players, leading him in song, and And then the whole team stood around and watched Anthony Collier practice the national anthem. And everybody gave him a rousing standing ovation, and into the tunnel they went. There's a lot of camaraderie here at Fresno State, and it all starts with Jim Sweeney, the head coach. That man, as soon as he gets some horses, will try and build some camaraderie also at Wichita State. There's the happy Irishman.
It feels great.
And earlier, after this play, 1st and 10. Dive play straight ahead. This one is, of course, out of hand. Jim Sweeney will go 10-0-1. Coach, how's it feel to be undefeated?
Well, we don't have the mic on. After a frustrating year last year where they had so many injuries, they were 6-6. They came in. I think they surprised a UNLV team in their first game with the running game, and then they've shown that they've had the balanced attack all year.
Jose Wilson cracks it across the 50-yard line. Well, let's take a look at the NCAA all-time career passing leaders.
Doug Flutie, an amazing 10,500 yards passing. McClure for bowling.
There'll be nary a Wichitan that won't claim to have known Xavier McDaniel somewhere along the way. He's gone now, but starting tonight, we present in 3 parts a glimpse of life after Wichita for Xavier McDaniel, a talent in transition. It's a long way from Wichita, Kansas to Seattle, Washington, both aesthetically and physically. But for Xavier McDaniel, it's afforded the opportunity for him to emerge both as a superstar in the NBA and as a human being of growing consequence.
Beautiful crabs, too. 2.5, 3-pounders. Salmon and crab specials. We got them on special now. Let's go 1 salmon up here, please.
It's kind of nice because, you know, here, I would say you can go different places.
I was watching him. Oh! Want a bigger one?
And look at different things.
Where the boys are, where the boys are.
I'm just loving every minute of it right now because it's fun to me.
Seattle, the country's best-kept secret, and wanting to stay that way. Chiseled between the Olympic Mountains to the east and the Cascades to the west, it's the jewel of the Puget Sound.
You got, you know, the ocean that's not too far away. You got lakes everywhere. The hills, I mean, it's all types of hills out here.
The hub of over 2 million, it's a successful collaboration of urban sophistication and the simple good life. Xavier McDaniel has blown into this Emerald City like a Kansas wind, fresh and unrelenting, constant but changing, a talent in transition, a star in the making.
People have been treating me real nice. I think if they wouldn't accept me, then I think I wouldn't have these feelings toward it. But, you know, coming here and having people say, welcome, Xavier.
Okay, come on, you guys.
Just make me feel at home.
Like the great Roman, X has come, has seen, and is very much in the stages of conquering. Maybe we see a hoop from a highlight show. Well, I had to see it for myself, so photographer Jeff Hardiman and I went to the Northwest to catch the real thing. Here's part 2 of what we found.
God has blessed me with some talent, but I don't think, you know, you can put the talent, just all talent, on a basketball court. I think sometimes it just takes a lot of hard work.
And there are some
That attitude, more than anything, typifies the man and his game. His unyielding work ethic goes beyond the average man's comprehension. But then X was never average.
You can always work on something. Some people might say, well, you know, put it off for a day or two, then they never get around to it. But myself, anytime I know that I need some improvements, I try to go work for them.
He's scoring 18 points and pulling 8 boards a night. An impact player in his first year. He's handling the challenge of transition.
I'm never afraid to take a challenge. So then that's where that heart and pride thing come in, and you just try to bear down and just play as hard as you can.
As one NBA coach said with envious awe, there's no pretense about X. He's the truth. He doesn't have to earn the respect. He's already got it.
You know, a lot of veterans, they just don't give the rookies respect. I just like for people to just treat me like a man, and that's the way I treat them.
His style is set. His talent, unrelatable. His role, evolving.
I can't be even a spark plug on this team. And that's what I try to do. Sometimes when I'm out of the game and we get kind of low, I just try to come in and just do something to get the crowd going. Even if it's a good pass or a dunk, do what it takes to win.
And though the Sonics don't win, X is. He's winning the hearts of Seattle fans, winning the admiration of his peers, winning in life. Tomorrow again in just a year's time. He's found the good life, and it fits him well. I hope you enjoy this, the third and final installment of our series on Xavier McDaniel. Each night Xavier McDaniel steps on a basketball floor, he is living a dream. The fame, the fortune, the lifestyle, it's all his. But so too are the pressures of maintaining it.
People recognize you now. People expect you to dress a certain way now. I'm not letting the money go to my head because easy come, easy go.
But the dream goes beyond the floor and spills into the life that he and Sylvia, his new bride, are building together.
I want to have a lot of kids. You know, I just want to be a good father one day and be a good husband one day. And I just want to be able to sit back years from now with my kids and just go fishing or play some basketball against them or baseball, whatever. Just try to have some fun.
On the court, he's driven by a fierce determination, guided by an innate sense. Off the court, there's Sylvia.
Being married has really changed me because one time when I was single, you know, you could just go. You don't have to tell them where you're going. But now you have to, and you just got to work with it. She's supportive because she knows sometimes that, you know, I have to do certain things and I can't be home. And she can understand that.
While Sylvia is the light in his heart, the game remains the light in his eyes.
You just got to have confidence in yourself. Just do the things that you do best. I can't be intimidated. I think a lot of people who we played this year realize that they can't intimidate me.
The evolution of the player continues. So too does the growth of the man. His needs are few, his desires universal. All he wants to be is himself.
I want people to love me and respect me, and I will give them that same thing. I just want to be X.
The star, the man. We hope got to know both of them a little bit better over the last 3 nights. We'll be back with more sports right after this.
No, when I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a pro baseball player. I wanted to be a Dave Winfield. I didn't think nothing about basketball. I started playing basketball about 9th grade.
What turned? Okay, thank you for the call. What turned you around?
My high school coach and Caldwell Jones played with. He played with Portland right now. He played with Conquistadors, and he started talking to me, and I was growing rapidly at that time. So my mother and my high school coach got with him and had him convince me to play.
What about Antoine? Now, you guys are both on the same team, but we haven't heard much about him because he's been hurt. Is he coming back okay?
Well, Antoine, he's just getting back off of an injury.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really fully 100%. His leg still bothers him after we play a hard game or something, and he has to rest it. You know, a lot of times I tell him, hey, Twan, you know, just relax, because, hey, we got another one tomorrow, you know, because what's the sense of going to practice the next day and keep injuring it and never really giving it a chance to heal. And right now he's playing well. He's playing real well. He's doing more than what's asked of him, and that's what the whole team is about.
Okay, back to the phones. You're on News Talk. Hello. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in the net. How are you?
I'm 6'8", 220 pounds.
Thank you for the call. You're on News Talk. Hello.
Yes. Cliff, do you foresee any professional basketball team making its way into the Midwest area again since Kansas City left?
Not at the present time. There were talks about having 2 more teams brought into the league, but that was like rumor, so you really don't know when they're going to bring another team into the league. They were talking about bringing a team down to Florida and somewhere Midwest, but no one knows.
Okay, thanks for the call. You're on News Talk. Hello.
Hi, Cliff. This is Cheryl from Wichita. I need to know, who are your basketball idols?
Well, basketball idols, one of them is Caldwell Jones, who started me playing basketball, and another one is Dr. J.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call. What about Spud Webb?
Spud, he's a funny person. He's really one of the big key catalysts to our team. Once he comes in the game, you don't know what to expect from him. He's so fast and gets down the court. He makes things happen. He gets you open. Plus, he makes the crowd get off into the game. We can be having a dry crowd. Crowd's not really into the game. But once he gets into the game, he really picks them up and make them want to cheer for us.
He's going to be in the slam dunk competition at the All-Star game Saturday, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a picture of him walking. Spud Webb, in case you don't know, is 5'7".
He's 5'7", 190 pounds.
And can dunk like you can't believe.
He got his first NBA slam dunk was the first game of the season. And it was, got everybody really excited, and next thing you know, the whole game seemed like it turned into dunks.
Yeah. Let's talk very quickly, we're just about out of time, about Wichita State producing, well, we've got, 3 now, real known names in the NBA. Is there a secret there? Is it Coach Smithson?
Well, Coach Smithson is a big part of it. You got to give credit to Coach Shore, who worked on the fundamental part, and Jeff Jones for really knowing the talent, where to go and look for the talent. Coach Jones brought me into the program, and Coach Shore...
Jayhawks are having a lot more trouble than they expected with the lowly Buffaloes. As we see on the scoreboard, it's about midway into the second half, and KU is holding just a 4-point lead, 54-50. Already completed tonight, Norris Coleman 30 points as K-State beat Oklahoma State by 5, and Nebraska with a shot at the buzzer upset Oklahoma 66-64. On to top 20 action. Second-ranked Duke playing at home against Miami of Florida, and the Hurricanes' defense in basketball about as porous as the football team's was in the Sugar Bowl. The Blue Devils poured in 104 points in winning easily tonight, as we see on the board, 104-82 the final. Georgia Tech a winner by 10 over Wake Forest. It was Kentucky knocking off Florida by 11. Notre Dame routed Manhattan 102-47. Louisville a winner over Florida State. Virginia Tech by 15 over VMI. And Virginia upset North Carolina State 69-60. And in New York City today, a meeting of USFL team owners produced a unanimous verdict. The league will go ahead with the fall schedule as planned, 8 teams. will take part.
The coach is 30 seconds.
If anything, I can describe this thing as a tremendous pulling together, a tremendous sense of unity, and the idea and concept of not playing was really never accurately discussed. We are ready to go, and we're gone through our dead period, and we're now going to be whipping forward to go right through and prepare for our 1986 season.
Well, 1986 has found the two most recent ex-Shockers discovering different fates in pro basketball. Last night we checked in with Aubrey Sherrod, who was toiling with Kansas City in the CBA. Tonight we visit with the X-Man, whose rugged style of play is just as big a hit in the NBA as it was at Wichita State.
It's been a lot of hard work. I don't think anything comes easy.
Hard work is nothing new to X. It's carried him a long way. But unlike others who relax and enjoy the fact that they've made it to the NBA, X just continues the hard work. On his defense, on his outside shots, all for a very unselfish reason.
I didn't want to disappoint nobody in the Seattle area, Wichita, Columbia, South Carolina. I didn't want to go out and prove anything. I just said, you know, if I play hard like I played in high school and college, that everything else would take care of itself.
And that it has. And if his hard work continues to pay off, this may be the only All-Star break that finds X remembering his collegiate roots instead of mixing it up with the league's best. But while his first half play has drawn rave reviews throughout the NBA, X himself proves to be very strict in assessing his own midterm grade.
I give myself worst grade, F, because, you know, when you say that you give yourself an A, that means you're satisfied with your production or with the way you're playing, and that means that you really don't have nothing else to prove on. And go out, but I think I have a lot to learn.
The rookie season is always a learning process, but some, like X, learn faster than others, and that is what pleases him most.
I don't think a lot of the people around the country thought that I wouldn't be that good of a pro player or that I would be a flop. And, you know, I proved all of them wrong, and now they're saying that I'm an impact player. So that's telling a lot about the critics, because they say one thing about you, and then when you do something else, then they say another thing. So, you know, I think I'm doing all right.
Seems to be.
He's doing all right.
What's that old expression, poetry in motion?
That's a good way to describe the way X plays. And by the way, the KU game will not be completed for about another 20 minutes, half an hour, so we'll have a final score on the sports update line on the city line.
Okay, thanks, Dale. Well, up next...